The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
God, fuck! I gotta edit this out now!
No, you didn't. I hadn't made
Here.
a single sound. I had not made a sound.
She brought you a note.
Deliberately wrote it down,
You...
so I would not make a sound.
Read it. What's it say?
The Gateway pundit, top French scientist...
It's not the
Admit-
Gateway Pundit top French. It's the Gateway Pundit site said.
Okay, well, you didn't word it like that. From the Gateway Pundit, a right-leaning news article, top French scientist admits photos he tweeted of space telescope image was just a slice of chorizo.
With a photograph.
Thank you, Ginger.
Thanks. Thanks.
That would be a great topic for the first episode of Gingerisms. Sounds hilarious. Read it. No. The podcast you're going to start is called Gingerisms.
Gateway Pundit is highly rated for accuracy.
Jesus Christ.
That makes this even funnier.
They haven't lost.
Anyways, thanks, Mom. Thanks. God, fuck. So I was listening to there's a bunch of like Yellow Flash and Nerdrotic. They had their Friday night show going, so they were I know they were talking about it for sure.
Well, I know we discussed it a little bit
Yeah.
they canceled Batgirl, which apparently was pretty much done.
Yeah, the movie was finished and everything, and they did test screenings.
The test screenings did not go well.
And nobody liked the test screenings. But you know who did like the test screening? Apparently, I don't know if he actually saw it, or if he's just coming out in support of it.
Yeah.
Kevin Feige.
Huh.
Kevin Feige came out and was supporting Batgirl.
Well, I know Feige had sent something to the directors, because the directors that did Batgirl also did Miss Marvel, so they already have a relationship together, Feige and those directors. And so, like, the way I understood it, seeing the message they put, was it more of a thing of like, hey guys, happy to see you or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry about Batgirl, that sucks. I don't know if there was any kind of like Feige saw the movie.
As far as I know, I don't think I don't know if he actually saw it. I didn't look into it. I just saw like a quick headline and a paragraph from the article where he was in support of it, and I'm like, you know what? No, because if it's a failure that bad, it's a smarter move to eat 90 to 100 million versus
Release it and have the bad press.
Well, no. You would have to pay out double that for advertisements. Even if you just went straight to HBO Max, you would have to do advertising.
Yeah.
So, I would rather eat 90 to 100 million versus 200 to 250 million.
So, like they're probably going to do with Ezra Miller's Flash movie. Because I don't think they're promoting that hardly at all, but it's apparently still on slate to be released.
Yeah, I think they're going to go ahead with that. The last I heard earlier today or yesterday, the new guy that's taken over Warner Brothers, David Zaslav, that's been cleaning house, he's apparently the one that axed Batgirl.
Yeah. He's been axing so much shit.
Yeah. And apparently there's a rumor that DC Comics might not be a thing here pretty soon.
Like the actual comics branch?
The actual publishing branch, yeah.
Wow.
Because,
I hadn't heard that.
Because it's only a rumor right now. Because they are getting ready to change their website from DCComics.com or something like that to DC Now. So
Wasn't DC Now like a subscription service for one of the something?
It sounds like it would be a subscription service kind of thing. So I don't think it was. There's DC Direct. That was a thing.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, so I don't think
that's what I was thinking.
I don't think DC Now was a thing, but I don't think they're going to be doing any I until anything more comes out, I'd be hard pressed to think they're actually going to axe the comics. They might outsource the comic stuff, but I don't know if they'll just full on axe it though, or put it on temporary hold.
I can't see them closing down the comic book branch. Like I could see trying to do another reboot, but I can't see them completely shutting down DC Comics.
Yeah,
that makes zero sense to me.
Putting on hold, I could see. Stopping publishing for a while, I could see.
Sure.
To restructure.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because they've been putting out stinkers.
Well, because allegedly that's what all these cancellations of the movies and TV show projects is a complete revamp. Where they're going to stop all the stuff currently going. Like, they just announced, I think a couple days ago, as of recording time, the Flash TV show is getting one final season.
Yeah, they're in their final season, I guess season 9.
Yeah, and pretty much everything else is canceled now, too. I know we talked about that on a previous podcast.
Yeah, everything else is done and canceled. I won't say done, it's canceled.
I do like that as opposed to just canceling The Flash. Like, I haven't been watching The Flash.
The show?
But I like that they're doing something similar to with Arrow. Yeah, the show, not the... where Arrow, they were like, okay, next season we're done. It's the final season. And with The Flash, it's the same thing where they're going, okay, guys, we just wrapped season 8. We're getting one final season so we can try to use this final season to wrap everything up.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't been watching the show. The last thing of the Arrowverse, or the CW verse, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw, and actually watched the entirety of was Crisis. The Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover they had.
Were you watching up to that?
I had been watching up until Crisis, and when I liked Crisis. It's not that they had done.
I watched it.
I liked it. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. I really liked their use of Kevin Conroy as that sadistic Batman. I thought that was great.
I thought that was not great.
You didn't like seeing Conroy as Batman for once?
I like seeing Conroy as Batman. I don't like what they did with him and to him.
Using him as an alternate universe murderous Batman?
The whole thing, it just was handled not great for me. It was just... It's not that it couldn't have happened because it's a multiverse Batman kind of thing, but if I remember right...
It's hardly the first Batman in the multiverse that has been the snappy, murderous...
Well, I just remember the whole send-off thing because they made a Batgirl... What's her nuts?
Yeah, the Ruby
Rose.
That girl.
They were making her that Paragon or whatever.
Yeah, the Paragon thing was weird.
Yeah, and so I remember when she had to kill. That was the other thing was we got to have the Batgirl kill Batman, and then because I felt like that was just a jab,
Sure.
And then I think he delivered some line that was loosely "You're the one, you're the Paragon." And it's oh, fuck you! There's a multitude of different Batmans that are better than her.
I'd have to watch it again. I don't remember.
I just remember watching some coverage. I watched it when it happened, and then I watched coverage of it, and it was just
yeah. After Crisis, I didn't keep up with the Flash, specifically the Flash. The other show, Legends of Tomorrow, was okay. I haven't watched any of Black Lightning. I've heard Black Lightning is good.
Yeah, I heard it was decent. Apparently,
the last thing
Legends
I saw...
was...
go ahead.
I was going to say Legends was holding up alright.
I thought so. Especially with Snart. When Snart died, I felt it kind of took a little bit of a dip for me personally, just because I liked the character of Leonard Snart. But I don't remember if I don't think it was like all right, I'm done watching this show. It was just I stopped keeping up with it.
Yeah.
And then periodically people would send me things.
Yeah.
From, like, I know you would send me stuff and Joe would send me stuff from The Flash, and none of it made me urge to go watch it.
Yeah.
Like, somebody sent, again, it might have been you, sent me a clip of the lightsaber fight between Flash and Reverse Flash,
Yeah.
where these two guys whose superpower is running really fast, and every time you do a good super speed fight where they're running around and hitting each other and trying to catch each other, like something like the Injustice 2 Flash and Reverse Flash scene, phenomenal.
Yeah.
This, for the listeners who haven't seen it, you have the Flash and Reverse Flash standing opposite each other talking some shit, and then out of nowhere, I didn't watch the episode. I have only seen this scene, so maybe it's explained how they have this goofy ass power, but they hold their fists up like they're holding a sword, and they make lightsaber blades out of lightning, and then have a sword fight.
Yeah.
At regular speed.
Yeah. Not at lightning speed.
No, not at flash time with like raindrops suspended in the air. That would be kind of
That would be cool.
The sword fight aspect would still be kind of silly, but at least you would have incorporated more super speed.
That would have been so cool.
That would have been better. Like they're swinging the sabers and evaporating lightning, evaporating the raindrops that are suspended in air.
Oh man, then you would have a bunch of science nerds coming through. Because like I was thinking about one scene, how cool it would be if just a string of lightning went through like a series of droplets and hit one of them or something, you know?
Right.
But then you have science nerds be like, actually.
I would like for them. They're probably not going to.
Yeah.
And maybe they have. And again, I haven't caught the last couple seasons because I think since Crisis that was like season 5 or some shit, and we're about to go into season 9.
Yeah, Crisis.
I don't remember. I can look it up.
It wasn't earlier. Well, no, it wasn't earlier this year.
But I remember a thing, and it was kind of a retcon, I think, but. In the comics with the Flash's rebirth story, did you ever read that, where he came back to life?
No.
They had a thing, I think it was in that story, where they kind of retconned a little bit of his origin, where I don't recall the exact circumstances, but Barry ended up being the lightning bolt that hit him.
Oh, yeah!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember that.
If they haven't done that in the Flash show,
I believe
that would be interesting if they added that.
I feel like they did. I feel like they did something with that.
Yeah, that show, among all of the CW shows, like Arrow was good for a little while. It had its down moments. Flash was the one that was like the first 2 seasons, 3 seasons, it was hitting hard.
Yeah.
It was like, hell yeah, man, give me more of this.
Yeah.
And then they, hit a roadblock here or there where, the writing might have taken a hit here or there.
Yeah.
Some hokier stuff.
Their
effects were never the greatest, but they're also on a TV show budget. For their budget, they did pretty well for a while.
Yeah,
like
they
King
were
Shark,
doing good.
Bro,
yeah, King Shark looked pretty
King Shark
good.
Was fucking great.
I will not forget though, and it was something I sent to you at the time it happened. It was when they introduced Kid Flash.
Yeah,
I think his son or something.
Where they introduced Wally.
Not Wally. I think it was.
Oh, I remember. Yes, I remember you sending me the clip of them introducing Bart.
Yeah, it was Bart.
But I didn't see that season.
Neither did I. I just saw the clip of him running, which looked just absolute garbage. And then there was the scene where Barry was being chased by like white zombie flashes or something.
Oh, the Godspeeds.
Yeah, he was getting chased by Godspeeds. And the effects for that was
it's weird how like
I don't know who they outsourced this project to. I don't know who made the call to do what.
Yeah.
But whoever saw that and said, it'll do, they need to lose their fucking job and never touch this industry again.
It's weird to me that, like, visually, not counting the effects itself,
yeah,
but visually, their way of making the super speed has seemingly been the same the whole time, like where it's him and he's got his arm, like he's running real quick on a treadmill. It's always looked like that. But like you're saying, the effects, I don't see how they've
somehow gotten
season 1.
They've somehow gotten worse.
Yeah, it's like that shit should be stock effects in your shit.
Yeah, you would think you'd be able to over time tweak it a little bit to make it better.
All you gotta do is tweak the color.
That's it.
Because certain speedsters have other color lightning in the show and in the comics. That's all they really needed to change. Like, Again, I'm not a VFX artist, so maybe there's more to it that I'm just not a.
Well, I remember. Well, no, because I remember in Smallville, they had that. Their solution for that was just a blur.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that could work, the first few seasons until you got a better budget.
Yeah, but I mean, Barry's whole thing is the lightning.
Yeah, I mean, you could add lightning to it and everything, but
as much shit as, I mean, granted, again, it's a different budget and stuff.
Yeah.
As much shit as Ezra Miller caught for his interpretation of the Flash, which I dug. It wasn't Barry.
It wasn't Barry at all.
It wasn't Barry. It wasn't even Wally.
No.
It was it was a different type of character.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy their take on his super speed.
I like the effects for that.
Yeah. I liked that. Like, it was different while still
there was a couple
feeling familiar.
There was, I think, one of the ending scenes when he's like ramping up. The way he's like ramping up was weird.
Oh, the bend thing to go down or whatever.
Not even that, but just in motion, he's just like flailing his arms.
Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody really knows how to run at a speed like that. Maybe there is the joke that he's like, it's competitive. You
look at Olympic runners and see how they run.
Well, yeah, you would think that would running at Mark 10.
Yeah, but you would think if
Mach 10, excuse me.
Yeah, but they're running at an efficiency and form that is allowing them to.
Yeah, you could have a better runner form.
Yeah. So this whole fucking flailing out.
It does kind of look like, though, like
he looks like somebody told him, was like, all right, think about swimming. Okay.
He looks like, to me, he's rollerblading way too fast and trying not to fall. Like he's trying to maintain his balance.
Yeah, My idea was you're trying to interpret what somebody looks like swimming, but they're also trying to run at the same time.
Trying to run through water?
A little
like
bit.
Completely underwater?
Yeah.
I could see that. His thing, man, I know we ended the last episode talking about Ezra Miller, but good lord, man. In a world
more stuff has happened.
WB has canceled the show The Flash, which, I mean, maybe it's a mercy killing, I don't know.
I think it's a mercy. Well, outside of not having the budget anymore, I'm sure. Yeah.
But Ezra's Flash is apparently still on slate to come out this year.
Yeah, so as we were talking about before we started the recording, Batgirl is canceled. It had a $90 to $100 million budget, and the movie was finished and had undergone a couple different test screenings and was being received very, very poorly.
Of course, how poorly can it be getting received if something like Morbius came out twice?
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's movies I've heard of that didn't get great reception and still got released, but I don't think. It was something I was explained to, like, with the new owner, well, not ownership, but with the new takeover, I guess you could say, David Zaslav, who's cleaning house at Warner Brothers. It wasn't anything that a lot of people really thought about, but I think the best option for them is to just cancel it despite it being finished, because, as I was explaining a minute ago, it's better to spend the $100 million to make the movie and find out it's shit and can it, versus deciding it's shit, going through and then spending another $90 to $100 million on advertising, even if you release it straight to streaming. it's better to eat as less as you could, you know?
Yeah. Of course, there's also an argument to be made that, like, I'm sure there are other movies that are now well received that upon their test screenings, it was
their release,
yeah, that
were
lambasted.
They did horrible, or they didn't make their money back.
It's entirely possible Batgirl could have found its audience.
Yeah, I mean, that's the term cult classic is kind of what that is.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show is kind of
example.
what kind of ushered that, because I've maybe watched it once. I'm not into it. I've never been to a Rocky Horror Picture Show
I've seen the
event.
movie.
I've seen it once, and like I know a little bit. Like I know some of the characters, but like that was a movie that when it released, it did horrible. Nobody went and watched it. But as time went on, there was a there was a following, and people found an appreciation. And it was like a niche thing. And people like around Halloween now, theaters will do Rocky Horror Picture Show events where people go and dress up, and they'll do like the goofy dances and stuff from it. And so like it's a big deal now. And there's several others like that were cult classic hits now.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
It's just so odd to me because I think we talked about it a little bit on the last episode.
Yeah, so when did we record the last one? Like a little over a month ago.
Yeah,
I'll say a month and a half ago. And I was able to put that out like a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And so at the time we were talking about that, we were going into how
he'd been arrested a few times.
He had already been arrested a couple times, and the last thing anybody heard, he was living on a farm in
a pot farm,
an armed pot farm.
Yeah, with guns, and a woman and her 3 kids, one of which a baby allegedly had a bullet in its mouth, like it had picked it up and put it in its mouth.
Where was this? Like Maryland,
something like that.
Was it somewhere on the East Coast?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think it's one of those flyover states that's got legalized weed.
Wyoming? No. I don't remember.
But anyway, the thing that's weird to me about all these is it's almost entirely hearsay, other than his arrest. Like his arrest definitely
that's
happened.
on video.
That's on video.
Like his actions are on video.
Yeah, him choking that lady in Europe a while back. That's on video. The stuff of him in Hawaii, I haven't really seen much video of him fucking around. I know that I've heard the stories. But this newer shit that's coming out, like either yesterday or day before, a thing had come out that Ezra is allegedly driving around with a bulletproof vest on and a gun in his hand. Where the fuck are we getting that from? Like, is that confirmed?
I don't know.
Is there a photograph?
I don't
know. So since we're gonna be back now, that hold on. I gave you a clap for your edit.
I'll probably leave some of that.
That little edit, I just want to read this again.
Oh, God.
Josh's mom came to let us know.
Because it was detrimental that because of the conversation we were having
about the Flash.
For whatever
and
reason.
Ezra Miller.
It was detrimental that my mom had to come in and give us this note.
Yeah, according to the Gateway Pundit,
a right-leaning news aggregate,
top French scientist admits photo he tweeted of space telescope image was just a slice of chorizo. And apparently there's photographic evidence of this. So now that we know, audience, you know, and the world is all right now. So we were talking about Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
And the Flash. Keep an eye on this channel for Gingerisms coming soon.
Yeah.
You can get so much more of headlines like this. But no, I don't. I would just like to have photographic or video proof of all this crazy shit he's being accused of. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's not happening, but it seems really weird. Like,
it would be nice for them to at least detail. We don't have photo evidence, but according to a source who is in the area.
Yeah. Like, it's all hearsay.
Yeah.
Like, Amber Heard's lawyer would have a fucking field day with this.
Oh, man.
Which, speaking of that, as a little quick tangent, I mean, we're still on DC.
Yeah, I was going to
Amber
say,
Heard
yeah,
counts.
DC adjacent. Well, I was going to say, so, before we get on to the Amber Heard thing.
Go ahead.
So, they've canceled Batgirl, but it sounds like they're still going ahead with the Flash movie.
Okay.
Despite the recent, as of, was it yesterday? Today?
Yesterday, day before.
Day before?
Yeah, it was sometime this week.
With that Ezra
Beginning
news.
of August.
It was yesterday, because it was the same time they announced a whole slew of things that Batgirl was canceled. The same time that got announced was the Ezra Miller news. So yeah, it sounds like they're still going through with the Flash. I think there was more interest of course. I mean, that's been known of for a while, and I think the reason they're still going through with that is because I believe I haven't seen any budget releases on that, but I think they're going to hope maybe they could break even on the hopes that Keaton and Ben Affleck could draw a crowd.
Yeah, because we've heard that they've got Affleck coming back to do a few things. Flash being one of them.
Yeah.
Aquaman being another.
Aquaman 2. He's officially in that, and
Aquaman got pushed back. That's coming out next year now.
That's the first I've heard about that.
I'll find the actual date.
Then I'm willing to bet the reason we're only recently hearing about $200 million for the Flash.
Yep.
Fuck. So $400 million in total.
Yeah. Not counting whatever they had to spend on reshoots.
Yeah, so I say $400 million because typically, and I've mentioned this before. Typically, you'll double the budget of the movie for advertising costs and stuff like that.
Typically.
Yeah. So whether or not they're going to distribute this, I think they'll go HBO Max at this point.
Yeah, I can't see them going to theater with it. Because then they would have to have Ezra doing the rounds.
They would need press junkies and stuff like that. They would have to do a tour, and at this point, they've already fired him.
Have they?
I believe.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah, if you, I think you look at. I believe so. I think after. I think it was right before the pot farm thing.
Okay, I'll look that up.
I believe it was shortly after the Hawaii incident. I believe that's when they separated, quote unquote, separated.
Just as a note, Aquaman, I had mentioned, got pushed back. The new release date for that is March 17th, 2023.
Okay, that's not bad.
And The Flash is pushed to June 23rd.
Yeah, because right now the current thing with Aquaman 2 is I'm sure they're running circle. If they're doing reshoots, they're absolutely going to be cutting Amber Heard out.
Oh, yeah.
Because originally, they had done a test screening for it, and there was a rumor from, I mean, not a trusted source of ours, but somebody that I watch that I trust that has trusted sources, so a friend of a friend of a friend.
Well, who's your source?
It's a few people.
Which channel do you?
I know Nerdrotic, that Umbrella guy.
Okay.
So there's a YouTuber named That Umbrella Guy. He has been covering the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial since it started, since the whole fiasco started years ago. So he's got, if there's anybody to watch who's been keeping tabs very carefully and with detail in all things Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, That Umbrella Guy. When he got brought up during the trial, and they said his name 2 or 3 different ways. The
Umbrella Guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. That was a cool moment because that shot him up a lot.
Hell yeah.
More than it did already. But they referred to him at one point as that Umbrella God.
Shit, I would change my channel name.
He did for a minute.
Umbrella God.
Yeah, anytime they're doing multi-people streams and stuff, a round table kind of thing.
Yeah.
They use a surface called Streamlabs, and it's kind of it's basically like Zoom, and so you can have your own username and everything. So you had typically when you're on it and you're a prominent YouTuber, you'll use your YouTube name as your username on there. And he was using That Umbrella God as his username for a minute. It was pretty funny. But
nice.
I believe it was him who initially reported first that one of his sources had told him that during a test screening for Aquaman 2, Amber Heard was in it significantly more than anyone had originally thought.
Yeah, she had like 20 minutes of screen time or
like
something?
15, 20 minutes of screen time, which was surprising.
Now, here's my question. How much do you think you would have to actually cut out to make without sacrificing the actual story?
Yeah.
Or could they do a thing like Army of Dead where they completely replaced Chris D'Elia with Tig Notaro and nobody could tell?
Oh, yeah, because they green screened her.
They green screened her in and just put her ass over D'Elia. Like, I remember watching that movie the first time going in, and I knew they had done this and still couldn't tell.
I saw those scenes, and it was pretty good. I never saw the movie. I heard it was bad.
Nah, I mean, it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, the movie, it's worth the watch. It's fun to watch. It's Zack Snyder. No, excuse me.
Yeah, Zack Snyder.
Is it Snyder?
Mm-hmm.
Snyder, I think, was not necessarily. I'm not going to say he was like trying to set up a like this universe,
like
movies.
a universe, like a multi-movie kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't think that's what he was doing, but he definitely was leaving things in there that he could expand on.
Yeah,
like the movie's about zombies, but there's also all kinds of random shit going on in the movie.
Yeah,
like some of the zombies they shoot are robots.
Uh-huh.
It's never explained. It's just something I think that if he was allowed to keep going, he would probably expand on. In the opening shot of the movie where they're taking the vampire, or not vampire, the zombie alpha or whatever, when they're taking him, there are aliens, there's UFOs in the sky that zip away. So there's aliens in this movie, there's robots, zombies, but it's little stuff. It's not.
Yeah, I know.
It's
it is so
stuff.
weird, because I watched some coverage on it, and like most of the people I watch, you know, they're kind of the same ideal as me. They didn't like it.
Everything sucks and I hate it?
Kinda.
Okay.
They had like legitimate criticisms of it. But there's a few people who like they acknowledged the criticisms and they were even more critical of it, but they were able to enjoy it a little bit more just because it was so goofy for them.
Yeah. One of the interesting things, and this is a spoiler for you.
Yeah, I don't care.
One of the interesting things they tried to do. So, the story, like, do you know about the gist of it?
Mm-hmm.
They're robbing a bank in Vegas.
Yeah, they get hired.
Or not a bank, but a casino.
Yeah, Batista gets hired to rob a bank, and there's a team put together. I believe, was it his daughter is part of the team?
Yes.
And then he's like, no, it's not happening, and he takes her place, and then she ends up going along because her friend is somewhere in this zone.
It's been a minute since I've watched it, so I'm gonna butcher it, but
I was gonna say
she does end up on the team.
Yeah.
She knows the person that can get them in, and then she's like, "Well, fuck you! I got you in. I'm coming with you because my friend is there." And that's a whole That's a really dumb little side plot.
I was gonna say, Batista ends up he goes in trying to save his daughter from taking on this mission, and then she ends up putting herself into it.
He gets the offer. It's his mission.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
He's the first one they contact. Anyway, that part's not important for what I was going to say. When they get there, there's like dialogue. They talk about how everything always happens type thing, like a time loop type conversation.
Oh,
and when they get to the actual vault, there are dead bodies wearing their clothes. Like, it's not. I don't recall if they bring notice to it where they're like, "Holy fuck, they look just like us." It's like dead bodies, but they are wearing their clothes, as if this is the second. I don't. Like I said, I think he was trying to go for something. I don't know how well it worked.
Zack Snyder is far from one of my favorite directors.
Yeah.
I think he's put out more stinkers than not. But the way he approaches these movies is so fucking retarded. I'm gonna that's like the simplest way to put it is like he approaches movies in the most retarded way. And with this movie, I don't even remember those details. But
you said you hadn't seen it.
I hadn't seen it, but I didn't know about those details. And the people I watch. It's been a minute since I've heard anything about it.
They're not, in my opinion, after seeing, they're not all that important to the story.
No, they're not, but it's like, it's so weird because, like, stuff like that, I don't know. It's like they gave him this movie and there was nothing said about a potential sequel.
The closest to a sequel, actually, it's not a sequel, it's a prequel. The Safecracker character, who is a fun character, but he got a movie where it's like, I haven't seen that one. The trailer makes it seem like it's part of the movie is a Safecracker competition of some kind.
Oh, okay.
I don't know exactly what's going on.
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
I like that character though. He was probably, him and Tig Notaro's character were probably the highlights of that movie for me. But yeah, I don't know, man.
Man, I wish we had seen Chris D'Elia.
Yeah, I would have been interested to see. Now, I'll say this: having Tig be the apathetic kind of dickhead, lone wolf, not lone wolf, but just kind of a crazy person.
Yeah, like a wild card.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Tig played that really well, because she's got that kind of attitude of this, like, fuck you, I'm gonna be me, kind of thing. D'Elia would have been interesting to see though, because I would be curious to see if he's just doing D'Elia or if he actually does something different.
I would imagine, if I remember right, I think
is it all eyes and fucking, goofy limbs?
No, I think,
or can he act?
I think that it was just the same character but reskinned.
Well, yeah, but the performance would be a little different.
I think slightly.
I can't see.
I think he would still be playing the wild card character because that's what that character is.
Well, I mean, the dialogue and everything would stay the same. What I'm saying is like
how he would deliver it.
Would he D'Elia up that dialogue?
I would imagine. Well,
because I really liked Tig's,
I don't know because there's very little things he's been in.
Yeah, he hadn't been in much.
And the funny part, ironically, the last thing I saw him in was
the thing where he was playing a child.
Yeah, he's playing a pedophile predator,
and then he gets accused of
and then he gets busted as a very close to the line pedophile. So the reason D'Elia got removed from the movie was because it had broke at the time after he had filmed and everything, and editing was not editing was totally done, but it had turned out that one of it was like years ago. But it had turned out like one of his fans that he had like a one-night stand or relationship with.
She wasn't 18.
I think she was like 17 or 18. Yeah. And so it was a huge fucking mess.
Yeah.
And so...
and I think that was right around like the Me... No. It was after Me Too.
This was like
2020, I think, right?
I believe so.
Couple years.
Yeah, because he took like a year-long break from everything.
Yeah,
he stopped his podcast and everything. But he came back in his first episode. He explained the entire thing and what happened and how he's been coping and recuperating and all that stuff. Basically, everything. The stem of the problem was he was a sex addict.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was It was basically he had like a sex addict addiction kind of thing. And, like, he was talking about, like, just kind of being in a rock star type of limelight. Like, it just kind of fed his ego.
Yeah.
And so that girl he was with, it wasn't anything about him that he was attracted to, like, young girls or anything like that. Because he was under the impression she was 18. And, I mean, he's, like, I don't know how old he is. He's, like, in his mid-40s.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's late 30s, early 40s.
He's like early 40s, I think. It's still fucking gross.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's not like what's happening with Dane Cook right now.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I heard about that.
To segue into that.
Fucking A, man.
So, before you get to that, it was just Chris D'Elia being a sex fiend and he's just like, she's 18, you know, but it turned out she was like a couple months for being 18.
Yeah.
So it's scummy. Even if if she was anything below 20, like 18 to 20, like I still find that gross, but that's just my preferential thing. Like past 25, once I turned 25, I was like, I don't want to date girls younger than 25. Because it was a generational thing.
Yeah.
At that point, it's a generational thing. Because it's so weird that between us millennials, because we're on the tail end of being a millennial.
Yeah, I think we're like right at the cusp. Well, I was born in 1992.
You're okay.
So
well,
I
I'm
think
93. I'm 93, and the cutoff, I believe, is 96.
Something like that. So we're like right at the end.
Yeah, we're right at the end of being millennials. And it's so weird that even that 3-year difference, somebody who is... See, you just turned 30? Or about to turn 30?
Just turned 30.
You just turned 30. I'm about to turn 29. Somebody who's 25 right now, they'll have an entirely different just mindset. I'm not even going to say growing up or anything, but just a different kind of weird mindset. And you'll have your outliers, of course, in every generation.
Yeah.
Like, even amongst our own generation, like, I don't get along. I don't know what the word is.
I think a lot of it though, like, depends on, and this is maturity.
Yeah, it's a maturity thing.
Like,
kind of
if
where
I
you
met
grew
somebody
up.
that was 20,
Yeah,
like 10 years younger than me. If
Yeah.
I met a really cool chick that was 20, but she was like mentally or emotionally mature,
yeah,
I'd probably be okay with that.
yeah. Just
Now-
like anybody in general.
A freshly turned 18-year-old?
Get the fuck away from me.
Probably not, yeah. Like, I mean, the 20-year-old would kind of be pushing it. Where, like, I would rather somebody, like you said, 25 or up.
Yeah,
like,
I've got a perfect example. God damn, that sausage. No gay pun.
I work at a barbecue joint right now, and I brought boudin for our recording.
I got a little piece of that rice stuck in my throat.
Oh my god.
Alright, so there's a young guy, now go back to, like, the maturity stuff. There's a young guy I know. I'm in a Discord, and, God, even that's gonna give it away. Fuck.
Well, what is the point of bringing up this
I was gonna say, it's just... there's just... it's a weird way... I feel like me and you, like our generation, I think we handled our anger issues maybe a little bit better than this newer generation. I feel like the newer generation is a lot more on edge than we were. Because, like, we were...
That's fair.
We were already, like, fuck this shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it feels like Gen Z... It's a mishmash, I think. It's even more mishmash, I think, than millennials.
I know that Gen Z's humor gets dark.
Oh yeah,
Like,
I think they adopted that from us.
Yeah, like our generation and our friends group in general.
Yeah.
Like, I'll speak for us personally, not just that as a generalization. But, like, we've got a pretty dark sense of humor.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
We make jokes about death and
All sorts
fucked
of
up
terrible
shit
things. Outside of rape and pedophilia, we make some pretty dark jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of a pedophile joke I've ever made. I've made some rape jokes, I'm not gonna lie.
I've made rape jokes too.
Like, hell, I'll tell one right now.
Okay.
My favorite rape joke isn't technically a rape joke. It's wordplay. So a woman goes into a police station and she says, "Help me! Help me! I've been raped." And they say, "Do you mean you got raped?" And she says, "No, there was a bunch of them."
That's a fucking stupid.
Technically, that's a rape joke. I mean, it's wordplay, but that's my favorite rape. Anyway, yeah, they have a dark sense of humor.
Yeah.
They're very much, they lean into the, like, this minor inconvenience, I'll just kill myself. Like,
yeah.
calm down there, Tyler.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Somebody didn't put whipped cream in my Starbucks. I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
right.
Yeah. Okay, so going back to the Crystalia thing. So, yeah, like I said, it was just him basically being a sex fiend, and it got out of control. And nearly landed him in way worse water.
Yeah.
And so to segue off that, Dane Cook.
So let me hit you with some numbers real quick, because while we've been talking, I pulled up a few things.
Some Dane Cook fun facts.
Yes. So
is this like a general history of his performances?
No. Well, for those that don't know, I mean, how do you not? If you don't,
everybody knows Dane Cook.
You have to know Dane Cook.
I'll say everybody remembers Dane Cook because he hasn't been.
You've heard of Dane Cook, almost definitely.
He hasn't been a household name in easily a decade.
Yeah, probably close to that.
Easily,
of course, part of that is probably due to him losing, like, his brother stole a shitload of his money. And
really?
Oh, yeah, you hadn't heard about that?
I don't know shit about Dane Cook.
Okay, before we start shitting on Dane Cook.
Outside of, like, his comedy stuff and his movies, everything I'll say, God, when... 2011, 2010, maybe? That
one where he was in that employee movie with, what's her name?
Employee of the Month? Yeah. Like, around that time, like, when he dropped off. I'm going to say 2010, 2011. Everything from that end to now, I don't know shit about Dane Cook.
Well, briefly.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actual year. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
But when Dane Cook was popping, his brother was his manager, or his financial manager at the very least. And he ended up trying to switch over to someone else.
Uh-huh.
And his brother...
Was there a particular reason why?
I don't remember exactly. Like, he talked about it on a couple podcasts. That's the only reason I know this.
Yeah.
Because I watch and listen to Your Mom's House.
Oh, was he on that?
Christina Pazitsky and Tom
Yeah,
Segura.
he was, actually. I think I remember. I didn't watch it.
But he talked about how he discovered from... I think it was like he was moving.
Yeah.
And it made more sense to have his company or whatever in the new place he was going. So it was like...
Okay, so it's kind of like a convenience thing? Okay.
Exactly. And in the process of getting all that moved over, discovered that his brother had secretly been stealing millions. Millions.
How do you miss that?
He didn't look. It was, my brother's got this. I trust my brother. When I swipe my debit card, it goes.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
He ended up having him sent to prison. Like,
oh, fuck.
Yeah. So, anyway, that's just a slight tangent.
Yeah.
Like, Dane Cook's been through some shit. That doesn't excuse any wrongdoings he may or may not
that
be
we're
doing.
about to go into, related to Crystalia.
So, a few days ago, Dane Cook popped the question to his girlfriend.
How old is Dane Cook?
Dane Cook is 50. He was born in 1972.
All right.
His girlfriend, fiance, her name is Kelsey Taylor.
Can I just say for a second?
Yeah.
He was born in 72.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're quote-unquote young. I still think of the 70s as 30 years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Like...
Everybody who's got even a good memory of the late 90s, early 2000s, it seems like everybody who's got a memory of the early 2000s still thinks of the 70s as 30 years ago.
It's wild now.
50 years old, born in 72. Okay.
His girlfriend was born in 1988. She's 23. And they've...
Wait, 1980? Wait.
1998, I'm sorry. 1998. She's 23. And according to them, they'd been together for 5 years. Now, 5 years means, according to them, that they got together at 18.
Yeah, as a lot of news outlets have said, longtime girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then they've been together 5 years?
5 years is what they're claiming. Now, I would put money saying that relationship started before 18.
It absolutely did.
Hey, did you know Dane Cook plays guitar?
I did.
His favorite scale is A minor. And his favorite band is Underage Against the Machine.
God fucking damn it.
I can't take credit for those. Those are jokes here on this page. Him and his fiance registered at Build-A-Bear. So... Oh man, but yeah, Dane, it's a weird thing. Like, I don't know what it is. I mean, it's not just celebrities, but I don't I don't understand that. Other than, like, a sexual thing of, like, dating somebody that much younger than you.
Well, there's the whole thing. I've been hearing it more and more lately that there's no...
Like, if I'm 50 years old and I'm looking for a woman, I think I'm going for someone 45 at least.
Well, the thing is, Dane Cook doesn't have
Maybe
any
40.
kids. Dane Cook doesn't have any kids, right?
Oh, good point.
So...
He needs a fertile womb.
Yeah, it's something I've been hearing discussions of a little bit more lately, where it's kind of why older men gravitate towards younger women after they've had either a failed marriage, a series of failed relationships with women their age. It starts becoming to a point where if you don't have kids at that point, you start getting into the mindset of, I think I might want kids. And, you know, there's been the whole thing of, like, women are at higher risk after, like, 35, 40.
That's what I've heard. I don't have a uterus, so I don't know how that all works.
As somebody who doesn't have a uterus, but is
I also have no children of my own. So we don't
have kids, and as somebody who was birthed by a woman who was 42 years old, it's still very possible. So.
Oh yeah. Well, like, you look at somebody like, I mean, granted, this is the male, and I don't know how old his mom was, but you look at somebody like Theo Von.
Yeah.
Theo Von has talked about, he's a comedian, by the way. Theo Von has talked about his father was 70 years old when he shot that one. Like,
yeah.
Kudos to you. You're still shooting live fucking rounds at 70 years old.
Yeah, I mean, there's no menopause for men, you know? Like,
right?
Either you're going to shoot or you don't.
You know what? Maybe there should be. Maybe that's a flaw in the design. Like, maybe we should just start going sterile at, like, 50.
No.
55, 60.
Nah. Because, I mean, look, women in their 30s, too, you know, there's a lot of women who are a little bit more respectable and, well, I don't know, respectable. There's women who are kind of the same mindset as men who are like, they've had failed relationships at their age, so they think if they bump it up to a man who's a little bit more mature,
sure,
you know,
I can see that.
They'll either want somebody who's a little bit more mature, more established, you know, because that's been a thing lately where there's the whole, like, women empowerment movement, like, in the, I mean, it started, like, in the 80s, but it didn't really start taking off until, like, the 90s and early aughts, where it was just, like, you know...
Can I just say, the aughts, every time I hear someone use that to describe the 2000s, it sounds so weird to me.
It sounds weird, and I've never used it before, and I don't know why I just impulsively did. I heard somebody say it recently, too.
I hear it all the time, and it's like, what does that even mean?
What does that mean?
Where did you get that phrase?
Did you see 2 zeros and just think, oh...
That's what it stands for. It's the O-O-O's, the aughts.
Yeah.
Oh,
you would think early O's, though, wouldn't you? But
like,
that sounds like a cereal brand. Early O's.
Probably high in fiber.
Yeah. But yeah, like, there's a whole movement, and it's...
and they're hardly the first celebrities, him and D'Elia.
Yeah.
They're hardly the first celebrities to date somebody
no, they're not.
With that much
Hugh Hefner,
Elvis Presley,
Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh my God, yeah.
I only bring that up because I saw something about that brought up recently. Because there's a Facebook page I'm on where it's like, it's called it's a strange hill to die on, but at least you're dead. It's a group where people will present a hill.
I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's a group where people will present an argument that they agree with, and then it's to ensue discussions about whether or not you agree with it or not. And something about that got brought up. But yeah, like Anna Nicole Smith, and like I remember it as a young kid. Up until he died, and then she was murdered, I believe. Yeah, she was murdered. I believe. Yeah. So, I remember a lot of people were giving her flack for that initially. But it sounded like they were genuinely, like, happy with each other, and I'm like, alright, I guess, you know? And she was, I don't remember how old she was. I know she already had a kid with somebody else.
I think when she started dating that old fuck, she was like mid-30s, I think.
Okay, I was thinking like late 20s, early 30s.
Late 20s, but I think she was in her 30s.
Yeah. And, yeah. So, I'm okay with... I'm not as disgusted, I'll say, as a woman who's, like, late 20s, early 30s... dating a dude in their 50s, because they're kind of like past, like, you know, that immaturity stage, or they're coming out of it, I guess.
Well, and you very rarely have it the other way around. Like, the only thing that comes to mind is like Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher.
Oh yeah,
older woman
you don't hear. I mean, there's cougars are definitely out there.
Oh yeah,
but you don't hear about long-lasting relationships.
Cougars are nice.
They can be.
I like cougars.
They can be.
There's a cougar in the car. Yeah, I know.
I put her in there.
I put her in there. That's been one of the funnier. One of those
TikTok trends.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That one's cracked me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Celebrities are just fucking weird.
What spurred us off into that?
Into Dan Cook?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. Dane Cook engaged to his quote unquote long-time girlfriend that more than likely, based on some of the things they've said themselves, and the relationship started before she was 18, so it's fucking weird.
Dane Cook and Chris D'Elia go to a bar and their dates have to wait outside.
Yeah. Well, the thing with
I'm gonna stop reading other people's jokes.
Well,
now.
I was gonna say with Dane Cook, at least, like, he's married now and he's got a kid. Is he? I thought he was
Dane
married.
Cook?
No. D'Elia. Did I say Dane Cook?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
Yeah, D'Elia's got a family now.
Yeah, D'Elia's got a family. Like, you know, like, he's doing good as far as I know.
Well, and okay, this article I'm reading
he's
here,
better off, I think, now.
This article I'm reading here is very interesting because this was posted to Newsweek. Dane Cook accused of hosting, quote, game night parties with teen girls. Apparently, he a few years back, like, since this engagement has come out, his Instagram account and stuff has become it's getting deep dived.
Yeah,
like every celebrity when they say something slightly controversial.
Yeah.
Of course, this isn't slightly controversial. It's kind of controversial.
It's pretty controversial, yeah.
But his Instagram account's now gotten people looking into it, and it appears to show multiple teenagers attending his game nights during the past decade.
Yeah.
Notable people that have been there is like Joey King and Bella Thorne while they were teenagers, but also older celebrities like Seth Green and his wife and stuff like that. But the pair, his Kelsey Taylor, his fiance now, she was there. She's been to his game nights.
What kind of game nights? Like, what were they playing?
Well, there's the picture I'm looking at, there's a bunch of people. So it could very well be the actual game night thing. Could very well be, because it's like...
So something like a Jackbox party game kind of thing?
Yeah, like this picture, there's a bunch of people. Like, some people are holding playing cards and stuff that.
Okay,
so like, it could be a genuine, like, game
like
night.
An actual clean...
Yeah. Like,
nothing that involves stripping.
Yeah, it's probably not an orgy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it could be.
Listen, we know Dane Cook. Not personally, but we know the nature of Dane Cook. We remember his routine, remember his comedy.
Yes, but there is something to be said that the stand-up is not necessarily
It's not reflective. It's not reflective of the person.
Exactly. You look at a guy like Anthony Jeselnik.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Jeselnik has that dark sense of humor in his real life, but he's guaranteed not being honest on stage. Like, he talks about radical shit.
Yeah.
There's no way even a half of that shit.
Have you seen his
accurate.
Twitter?
No, but I assume it's similar.
Yeah.
I assume it's similar to his act.
Yeah.
Where
It's
just
been a
dark
long
fucking
time since I've seen it. But yeah, he would have spicy shit on his Twitter.
But that's his gimmick.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was
that's
funny.
his thing.
It was hilarious.
Like Jeselnik's one of those comics that like
That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time either.
I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy. I think all the flavors of stand-up need to be there.
Allowed.
Yeah, and I think that Jeselnik's style of stand-up, where it's more of a shock comedy than like say a Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
But to me, it's his setup, his presentation, the way, because his audience, that's why they're there. You know what I mean? They're looking for his style of joke, which is, if you don't know who Anthony Jeselnik is, if you like kind of dark humor, go look him up. He's got Netflix specials. Very funny guy.
Mm-hmm.
His style is very much setup that sounds simple with a very dark punchline.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite ones of his, I'm gonna tell a Jeselnik joke, was he said, I talked to my mom about getting a motorcycle, and she said no, because her brother had died in a motorcycle accident. So she said I could just have his. Now, that's the style, whether you think that joke is funny or not, but that is the style of joke, where it's a very basic setup most times, where it sounds like a genuine statement, and then the punchline is fucked up.
That's hilarious.
But, I mean, I think you need... I don't know how we got off on a stand-up tangent, but we're talking about comedians.
Yeah, we're talking about comedians.
I think you need that kind of shit. Like, that's what stand-ups do, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I just recently watched on HBO Max this big documentary about George Carlin. It's really good.
I heard
if you're a Carlin fan, like I was am a huge Carlin fan. He's probably, I'll say, in my top 5. I try not to rank him, but like he's definitely in the top 5.
Yeah.
But you get guys like him that I think is a genuine genius.
Yeah.
Like I think he's legitimately one of the greatest comedic minds that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Similar to like if he wasn't a comedian, he probably could have been a politician.
Absolutely.
Like he probably could have been president. And I mean that just in terms of his his personable nature, and his, like, not just to mention his intelligence, because like if you listen to Carlin's stand up, he was a thinker.
Oh yeah.
He looked at the world, and you need.
He had a great perspective.
Yes.
He had a very grounded perspective.
Like, comics now, I think, are the modern day philosophers. Like, they're doing it in jokey forms, but if you you need people that are able to... I think Foxworthy talked about it once, where, like, the difference between a comedian and a regular person that's funny is we all have these thoughts of, you know, something funny happen, or we see something in a way that we go, oh, that's funny. How has nobody looked at it that direction?
Yeah.
You know? Comedians, most people have that thought, and then it just goes away. Comedians catch it and polish it up and go, what do you think of this? And then try again, polish it some more. Like, there's jokes, but when you find comics that are talking about, like, real-world issues and making it funny and making it accessible to where it's like you can have a comic set like Andrew Schultz, for instance.
Yeah, Andrew Schultz is really good.
He rides that line of like, oh shit, did he just say that?
Yeah.
But like, he still has people that don't agree with the shit he's talking about that are like, that's funny.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Yeah.
Like, I think stand-up in general as an art form is very important.
It really is, and it sucks that there's people who are just straight activists.
Yeah.
That are just...
Are you talking about in the crowd or on the stage?
On the stage. Like, people who are within these mediums, either, you know, actors, comedians, just personality types who get into these roles, like, they're activists and they're not actually the thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Because you've got comedians who have somehow made a career and are just absolutely not funny and have the absolute worst fucking retarded takes on general issues. Like Samantha Bee.
Oh, yeah.
She's fucking retarded.
Or Hannah Gatsby.
Hannah Gatsby. Holy fuck. Who was it? It was Dave Chappelle that was like...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle went hard on Hannah Gatsby.
I mean, and you know, it's a running what do you call it? Stereotype joke that women aren't funny or women.
Which is not true.
It's not true at all.
There is a much more
niche.
No,
not niche.
I think there is a much bigger spotlight on the female comics that aren't as funny, as opposed to a less funny male comedian that might still get.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the thing you notice. I think
people are quicker to point out the unfunny female comedians.
Well, I think what happens too with female comedians, I feel like some of them, Amy Schumer, for example. I used to think she was kind of funny.
Yeah, her early work, she had really good bits.
Yeah, and then it seemed like the more popular she got, she started leaning into like the crude humor stuff that 13-year-olds would find funny.
Yeah. Which there's a place for that, but you gotta.
Is there any more though?
Yeah, I think there is.
You think vagina and poop jokes are still like...
Well, I mean, I still laugh at dick and fart jokes, so...
Yeah, but how often do we hear those?
Depends on the comic. Depends on the comedians.
What comedian besides Amy Schumer do you know has built a career on dick and fart jokes?
We talking male or female?
Any of them. Outside of Amy Schumer.
For Nikki Glaser.
I don't feel like she's done it as much.
She does a lot of pussy jokes.
You know, I have heard she's
sex-based jokes.
I was gonna, I know about the sex-based jokes, and I've heard a lot of people say that she's Amy Schumer light.
I think she's what Amy Schumer wishes she could be.
I think, I was gonna say
Nikki Glazer's funny.
I think she's actually funny.
She is. She had a new special come out that said, I think it's called Good Clean Filth.
Yeah,
something like that. It's on HBO
Whitney
Max.
Cummings. She's another one that's like kind of in the same vein.
She's really funny,
but she's actually funny too. Like there's not a whole
Taylor
lot.
Tomlinson, of course, she doesn't really do the dick and fart jokes.
Yeah.
Much. I've already mentioned them once, but Tom Segura, Christina Pazitsky, they do pretty crude humor.
Yeah,
and it's not even necessarily just their stand up. Like, I think Christina does some in her stand up.
Yeah,
but like, if you can take some fucked up humor, go check out Your Mom's House.
Yeah,
because I watch it every week, dude. Yeah, it's fucked up. Like,
I'll let you finish.
It's really good.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think the main thing is like, because there's already that stigma of women aren't funny.
Yeah.
Like when one of them gets some popularity and it's like, how the fuck are you? Like,
there's more pressure put on them for sure.
Yeah, I think.
And I think what happened, what I was getting at with somebody like Amy Schumer, I think what happened was when she started getting a holding and a footing into her thing, and then she leaned more into that crude, like, poop, vagina, pussy jokes.
Yeah.
I think that was her trying to compensate to like stay relevant.
Maybe. Of course, I think she was one of those people that also got hit with joke theft.
She absolutely did. Yeah. She got hit at the same time people started turning on her.
Yeah.
For a good reason, I guess.
Yeah, I've heard the examples of stolen bits.
Yeah, I was going to say, I won't say for a good reason, but for a more popular
Well, if she was actually stealing bits, that's a good fucking reason.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, people started turning on her after, like, they got tired of the pussy jokes.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
The pussy fart jokes.
And I heard some of the bits where they claimed she had stolen them, and they're very similar.
Yeah.
But there is still this thing of, like, it's not impossible for two comedians to have the same idea.
Yeah.
Independently of each other.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, a Carlos Mencia.
Oh, God.
Where Carlos was busted multiple times.
Yeah. Called out on stage and everything.
Straight up, like, somebody would open for him, and then the next set, he was doing one of their jokes. George Lopez, I almost said Carlin.
Yeah.
George Lopez allegedly slammed him against the Laugh Factory wall by his throat.
Damn.
Because George clocked 15 minutes of his material.
Yeah.
And for the layman out there, 15 minutes of stand-up comedy is a fucking long time.
Yeah.
Like, most open mics are about 5 minutes worth.
Yeah.
Like, you get 5 minutes, and that's your fucking trying.
Yeah.
15 minutes, and the way I understand it, it wasn't like a joke here, a joke here, a joke here.
It was like consecutive back-to-back.
15 minutes in a row of George Lopez's shit on a fucking special.
Yeah.
Like, you're not in the Laugh Factory. You're not in the fucking...
He recorded this?
It was a
and put
special. Like a Comedy Central special.
Oh, no.
It's not like you're at the Comedy Store in the belly room just fucking
Yeah.
having fun and doing Lopez's shit because he's not there.
Yeah.
You put it on national fucking television.
Oh, no.
How stupid.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Like, the best thing that could have happened is the fact that Rogan called him out and recorded it.
Yeah.
Because, to paraphrase Rogan, if somebody steals a riff from a song, that shit is in the news for weeks.
Yeah.
So-and-so is being accused of plagiarism because they stole the... Like, you look back in history at, like, Queen going after Vanilla Ice for Ice Ice Baby using the chords for Under Pressure.
Yeah.
And they proved in court that it was just different enough that it wasn't... I think. I might be wrong on this. I might have to look that up.
Yeah.
But I know there was a court case that was done, and there was, like... We tried to prove that, you know, it's just different
They
enough
ripped the
that,
track,
Yeah. But with stand-up, no one gives a shit because it's jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you put intellectual property on a joke?
On a joke, yeah.
Especially when, again, it's not impossible.
Because you can't copyright jokes.
Not really.
You can't, because not
the way you copyright it is you put it out as a special.
Yeah,
I
record
think.
it and put it out. Like, that's the only way you could, really. Yeah. But, like, it's not like you do with songs where, you know, you've got copyright on the lyrics, the rhythms music. And everything. Or, you know, movies, books, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Literature. But, like, yeah, comedy is a weird art form that can't be, like, locked down, safeguarded.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something else is, like, it feels... Yeah, okay, there was a period where, like, you could get away with just, like, weird, snappy comedy bits, like the old cliche Seinfeld jokes, like, what's the deal with airplane food, you know? Like, you can't really do that ever.
If you've got good jokes, you can.
Yeah, if you've got...
There's still clean comics that do kind of... I don't like the word, but hokier stuff, like a Brian Regan.
Brian Regan is fantastic.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, but I think, like, nowadays it's like you've got to have a personal story tied to something, and that's what a lot of comedians are these days. Is like people,
storytellers.
It's like you said, they're storytellers, and there's somebody who's been able to take the story and turned it and made it funny and presentable. But you can't do, like, what do you call it? What's the thing? Like ice cream stick jokes? Is that?
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
You can't do those jokes. Really.
The only person I know of that has made a career out of like one-liners, is Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah,
he does some stories.
Yeah,
but if you look at all of his specials and count it out bit by bit, like not only number one is he getting incredible laughs per minute. Yeah, like. You watch a Larry the Cable Guy special or listen to one of his albums, it's ridiculous how much laughter he's getting. Yeah. Like, not saying Larry the Cable Guy's not funny. I find his stuff funny.
I think he's funny.
But it is bananas to me that he's made an entire career. The majority of his act is, like,
just
set up punchline.
Snappy one-liners.
Yeah. Like,
and like
he even did it with fucking songs.
Yeah,
where he'd go, "Here's the song I wrote. It's called Don't Stick It in the Butt because that's the exit, not an entrance." All right. Next song is like he's even turned one-liners into fucking musical comedy.
Well, like one of the other people that came to mind too was Zach Galifianakis.
Oh yeah,
his special Live at the Purple Onion.
He's playing piano.
Yeah, he's playing piano, and he's just saying the most random shit
with beautiful music as his back.
Oh yeah, like one of my, it's one that will stick with me forever. But like, he's not during that special. He's all over the fucking place with his style.
Oh yeah,
he'll move into different things, and like one of them, he starts doing like just like the most random sketch comedy shit. Where he's doing impressions of just random bonker shit.
Yeah.
And he's like...
It's a new character I created today.
Yeah, like, he's like, this is a new character I created. This is my impression of a 5-year-old with a beard. And then he's like, I don't like having a beard. It hurts. My beard hurts.
Oh, God.
And so, like...
He's a really funny one, too. He hadn't done as much stand-up as I wish he would have. I think
yeah.
the closest,
oh, man, yeah.
I think the closest he's done to, like, recorded comedy, and I may be wrong, maybe he's got specials I don't know about, but he is Between Two Ferns.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, is it Between Two Ferns? Yeah, he did a Netflix movie based on it. Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I believe, yeah, he turned that into a movie. And that was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, that's a really good concept, especially when he can get an actor, somebody that's like willing to play ball.
Yeah,
like his one with Steve Carell is great. I really like the bloopers. Like as much shit as she gets, the Brie Larson one cracks me the fuck up.
Yeah,
because she's trying so hard not to crack.
Yeah,
like the bloopers are the best because she's trying to do this uncomfortable, I don't want to be here face, and then he hits her with a good line. She's like, "Fuck!" and starts cracking up.
Yeah,
like Zach Galifianakis is a treasure, man. He's an
really
underrated comedian. Like he does good in movies, but like his own flavor of comedy is really good.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the movie, but I think it's called Between Two Ferns, the movie.
Nice. Keep it simple.
Yeah. Well, like the whole premise is like he's him doing the show. But then
he's like the most rude interviewer ever.
Ish. He's like a blunt and rude interviewer. Like he'll ask blunt but rude questions.
Yeah.
It's not like in the vein of somebody like Eric Andre, who has his Eric Andre show, who's just
good example.
Outright fucking a wild menace.
He's a wild man.
He's a wild menace to his guests. And I don't know if that's stage play either.
It's gotta be. He can't be that genuinely crazy. Like, that's gotta be...
Oh, no, I would believe it.
Like...
I would believe it.
Wait, are you saying stage play in terms of, like, Two Ferns, where the guest is in on the joke?
Yeah. I don't know, because there's... Actually, I don't know if the majority of it is, because I remember there was one time somebody was telling a story, and it may have been him, that he had some star that was from the 90210 show. He had her on his Eric Andre show, and I forgot what he did to freak her out. But he found out that they had the same agent. And the way he found out, I believe, was he was going to the office where he was going to meet his agent, and they passed by each other, the chick and him.
Yeah.
And I think he had done something different he looked different. And so he recognized her. And he's like, "Oh, hey, you're so and so. You were on my show, right? Like, are we good?" And she just like recognized him and freaked out and left. And that's what gives me the impression that like
maybe he's crazy.
His guests aren't in on it.
That's funny.
Yeah, because like at the time of the show too, like. I could believe that there's some pretty top A-list celebrities that he got onto the show that didn't know who he was and were genuinely under the impression that they were just going on a small talk show.
And it turned out to be
a fucking nightmare for them. Because, like, I forgot who it was he kicked in the face on his show.
He kicked someone in the face on the show?
Oh, yeah. He full on, like, judo kicks someone.
Jesus.
Yeah, like I said, he's a fucking...
He's a fucking wild man.
Oh, God. I forgot who it was. Oh, damn. I wish I had remembered. But, yeah, like, he just terrorizes guests. Unlike Zach Galifianakis on his show, where he just is asking blunt, rude questions. You know?
Which, again, that one, we're pretty sure that the guests are
Yeah,
in on
like
it.
there's definitive proof the guests are in on it.
Like, again, if you go and watch the Steve Carell one, which is one of my favorites,
Yeah.
'cause Steve Carell is, like, giving him shit back.
Yeah.
And, again, the bloopers are the best, because watching them both try not to crack at each other's lines.
I think
one with Obama was really good, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you look up the movie, Between Two Friends, a movie, because the opening of it is like similar to an opening of the interview show, and I want to say it may have been Will Ferrell that was on it, and like the whole premise is he's interviewing a celeb, or the movie premise is he's interviewing a celebrity. Something happens and a water line in the studio breaks, and for some reason, like the studio is like, eventually the studio floods, and like the collapse of the pipe kills the celebrity.
Love it.
And so it floods the entire studio and everything.
So Google is saying that the cast for that, which it is called Between Two Ferns, the movie.
Yeah.
You got Galifianakis, Haley Steinfeld, Matthew McConaughey, Brie Larson, Bradley Cooper, Paul Rudd, Benedict Cumberbatch, Keanu Reeves, David Letterman, Will Ferrell, and Peter Dinklage.
So
that's all that it's showing.
So
never mind. I have a whole shitload more.
Yeah. No. Well, I was trying to remember the celebrity that gets killed.
Who gets killed?
Yeah.
Probably Dinklage.
It was either Will Ferrell or McConaughey, maybe. I don't remember. But anyways, like he's interviewing a celebrity, pipe breaks, kills a celebrity, drowns, or floods a studio, and so it's kind of like a redemption arc thing for Galifianakis.
Like trying to get his show back.
Trying to get his show back and like reestablish like a good reputation kind of thing. It's a pretty good, funny movie. I don't know.
I'm looking at the synopsis here. It's McConaughey that does.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It says he drowns, although he is later resuscitated.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't seen that one. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it came out years ago. When did it say?
Let me look again.
I want to say 2017, maybe. 2018? 2016?
2019.
2019, okay. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I believe it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I think it's a Netflix original.
Yeah.
Kind of going off what we've been talking about. I wanted to discuss some of the stuff that Disney has come out in their slate for the Marvel stuff.
Oh.
Which, before we do that, I know we talked a little bit about DC at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
From all I've gathered, if they are going to reboot the entire reset.
So they've come out and DC officially came out and said they want to do a 10-year plan similar to what MCU did.
That's where I was going with that. So I'd be interested to see, like, not just what their plan is.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, we're not going to know what the plan is, but, like, would you, if you're, what's his name? What's the guy?
Zaslav?
Yeah. If you are Zaslav.
Uh-huh.
Do you completely reboot, or do you branch off of Matt Reeves as the Batman and just keep Pattinson as your Batman? Because that, you could probably build up the entire universe out of that. Of course, there might still be the thing of, like, it's too dark and gritty. How do you do Superman and Wonder Woman in that and blah, 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 which I think Snyder did very well. Well, not that Snyder did all of it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, Snyder tried to keep his theme throughout the movies, which you can't really do that with those characters. You can't really have a dark theme for Superman. Like you could. You can't have the same theme for Batman and Superman.
No, I thought he balanced it pretty well with with the way Man of Steel was done.
Kinda.
It was still more of a.
It was an interesting take for Superman, but I don't think as much of that hope and kind of like what Superman is. There wasn't a whole lot of that. But
admittedly, it was still supposed to be like an origin story.
Yeah, it was still an origin story. But I will say, how am I forgetting his name? Henry Cavill. Fantastic Superman. Yep. Would love to see him come back as Superman. Probably won't.
Probably aren't. There's rumors Marvel has actually like possibly got him for something.
Oh fuck!
Did you hear on the Who?
No.
No. Okay, so this is not confirmed. I'll let you take a guess because it's not who either of us have been requesting.
Oh.
I've been wanting it to be Sentry.
Yeah, I was
Captain Britain.
I was thinking. Oh, Captain Britain would be good,
right?
Yeah, I was thinking Sentry because that would be funny because Sentry is
essentially Superman.
Yeah, he's the Marvel Superman essentially.
And then you get him to have two characters because Sentry is also what's the other? He's got a dark half.
Yeah,
it's like the Void or something.
Yeah, I
like
think
that.
it's Void. I could be wrong.
So you could potentially have Cavill, who is again phenomenal actor,
fantastic actor,
very good. You could have him play both the righteous hero and the sadistic villain all in the same movie. And you could even build up to that. It could be an Avengers level threat. I
was gonna say we kind of got that with the Justice League. You know, when we had the resurrected Superman,
true,
kind of go evil, and then he's like, "Oopsie."
Well, it may be reasons like that where us nerds are like, "Do it, that would be awesome."
Yeah.
But the Marvel maybe doesn't want to do that because it's too similar. Where I'll get to a point here in a minute when I start talking about the announcements.
Yeah.
Where they're changing certain. They are changing certain things to not be similar to DC.
Yeah.
And again, I'll explain that in a second. But the rumor I heard on Cavill is that Marvel is trying to get him for Reed Richards. And I don't hate it, but I don't want it.
That's wasted talent.
I agree.
That's wasted talent.
I 100% agree. I am still of the mindset that
he would be great at it, but...
Yeah, I think he would do good, but I don't think that's the good fit.
No.
I also don't want Krasinski to come back. Nothing against Krasinski. I enjoyed his Reed Richards. I know some people didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got Krasinski because it was a fan cast, and I'm glad we got to see it.
I don't like what they did with it. I thought it was bastardized.
I understand that too. I'm glad we got it though, but I don't think we need it going forward. I think with Fantastic Four and the X-Men and stuff like that, I think we're not necessarily need, but I think it would benefit from unknowns.
Yeah.
Or lesser knowns to use a better term.
I heard an interesting pitch where they should just wrap up the current shit right now and reset it. And since they've got the rights to the Fox properties now, like they've got the X-Men and stuff, what if they went back and adopted the X-Men First Class thing and did like a 60-70 setting for X-Men and Fantastic Four and stuff like that?
Well, I've been hoping for them to do something similar to that for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And, I've been suggesting, at least in our group talks, that maybe you do it where they start out in the 60s and they go into, say, the Quantum Zone. And the Quantum Zone is where you get the powers. Just like, what's her name? Van Dyne.
Oh,
the wife.
Yeah.
Janet. She came out of the Quantum Zone with weird quantum powers.
Yeah, but are you going to be messing with time travel?
Are you saying, to bring them back?
Or just in general? Because the Quantum Zone is, time travel related.
It's... The quantum realm seems to have time travel-y stuff, depending on how you come out of it. I guess
I would do
that.
I would absolutely avoid anything to do with time travel at this point.
I wouldn't say time travel. More like
anything to do with space and time. I would.
Well, I mean, you can't avoid that right now with the multiverse saga.
No, you can't.
On. But what I'm saying is much like Scott got trapped there for 5 years.
Yeah,
they could be there for a year or two in the quantum realm, and somehow be released in its current day Marvel timeline. I'm not saying that's what they should do. They are doing or whatever.
It would be an interesting take, but with
because Feige has said that it's not going to be an origin story, which I don't know how you do that.
You could.
Well, his thing was people know the story.
Yeah,
just with Spider-Man.
It's like Spider-Man. Yeah, I was gonna say.
But is it though? The last time we had a Fantastic Four movie, it was fucking hated. They used the the Ultimate story as the basis for the Power collection, which I'm okay with, but where the original movie had them going to space like they did in the comics, and then the Fan Four Stick had them going to the negative zone like they did in the Ultimate comics. You've now had two separate series of movies, one of which was only a one movie, where the origin is similar, but it's not. So, like, do the general audiences understand how Fantastic Four became the Fantastic Four, or do you need at least the first 10-15 minutes of setup?
I don't think you need a setup with them. I think you could do them without that. You could have some dialogue, just kind of give a bit, you know? Like, you know, you could just have like a throwaway line from Sura's like, look, we're never going to get our lives back before we went to space and got our powers. Or something like that, you know?
I mean, sure. I feel like right now in this situation we flipped, because if that movie came out and it only had that one little line, I feel like you'd be going, where the fuck was the explanation? But
well, in this regard, like, I feel like Fantastic Four is a well enough established property despite little activity from it in the last several years. I feel like you could get away with that.
I think you could, but I don't know about the general audience. Like, with Spider-Man, the origin was the same. Pretty much in both of the original movies. And to their credit, like, Spider-Man's origin is pretty solid. Like, pretty much everyone knows, bit by a spider, blah, 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 blah.
Uncle Ben dies.
Like, and you could do something like that because he's a singular hero. Like, his introduction to Civil War, perfect. I think that type of shit, I think, only really works with a character like Spider-Man. I think for something like the Fantastic Four, where it's four heroes that all have cosmic or quantum or whatever they end up doing with it, that all have this one origin story, like, I think we still need to see it. I think the general audience needs to see it. Like, I agree that we don't. I think it should be small, but I don't think it should be like the first Fantastic Four movie, where the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes is them going to space and getting their powers, and then they come back, and then they have to deal with the fallout, and then they have to learn about their powers, and then become a blah, blah. I don't think we need a full-on origin story, but I think that there does need to be...
I feel like if you're going to do an open, it needs to be...
I think the first 20 minutes, they need to get their powers.
I don't think you need it that long.
No?
I think you could open up with them in space already.
Okay.
You could open up with them in space. Reed Richards is recording an entry log like entry 234. This is Dr. Reed Richards.
Now,
I'm working on an experiment with my assistant, Dr. Sue Storm.
Now, do you think that a time jump would be the best way to do it? Because, like, if we're writing this Fantastic Four movie right now, and we have the first 10-15 minutes of it being...
You could have, like, I think if you keep it under a year, you could get away with that easily.
Like 6 months later, they've already learned how to use their powers.
I was going to say, like, 6 months to a year, you get them right there.
I think having them be... To avoid the whole thing of, like, where were the Fantastic Four during XYZ? I think it needs to be a thing where they get their powers post the blip. In, like... Maybe even post Eternals, because the way I'm looking at it, there's been nothing concrete about it. The way I'm looking at the timeline, I think Eternals has come last.
I was gonna say, like, I was thinking about this movie, like, not even related to the events of the MCU.
Fantastic Four.
Because like
because you're still saying they should just completely restart.
I think they should just wipe everything.
I think that's not going to happen, and you should stop thinking it's going to.
I think they absolutely should just fucking wipe everything right now.
Okay, it's not happening.
It's going to happen. I guarantee it's going to happen.
Not anytime soon.
It's such a fucking mess. They're going to ignore it. I guarantee they're going to ignore it.
I think
they're going to get to a point where they can't address it anymore.
I think the most you're going to get is after this multiversal saga and we're done dealing with Kang, is it's going to be, like, they're going to bring...
like a soft reset?
Yeah. essentially like all the comics do, where they have the big crossover.
They need that.
Well, because I don't disagree. Because we know, I'm skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
At Comic-Con, they announced they showed a slate for phases 5 and 6.
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
5 and 6.
Well, the only thing that they have on phase 6 is just
3 things that's been announced.
Like major Avenger movies. It was
11. 3 are announced officially.
Okay.
For phase 6, it's going to start with the Fantastic Four. That's the first movie in phase 6. And then the final 2 movies are Avengers. I don't know which order. I can't remember which order. But it's Avengers Secret War or Secret Wars, one of the two.
Yeah.
And then the Avengers the Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
So my thinking is that... I figured it out. Okay. My thinking is they're going to do their soft reboot with Secret Wars, because since Doctor Strange introduced the concept of incursions, I think we're going to get the second comic similar to the second comic in Secret Wars, where Doctor Doom fixed everything, or not fixed everything, but changed everything.
Yeah.
Because they are almost assuredly introducing Doctor Doom in Black Panther. There is hard rumors that the actor that they have cast for Doctor Doom, is in Black Panther and might be the Baron Zemo to the Civil War. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So, like, in Civil War, where Zemo was the one secretly pitting Tony and Cap against each other, there's rumors that Doctor Doom, which has happened, that exact story has happened in the comics,
where Doctor Doom is pitting...
secretly pulling the strings.
Is pitting Wakanda against the Atlanteans?
Yeah.
Or vice versa,
or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah,
that's another thing I was going to get to about them changing things.
Oh God,
I'm not sold on that. Now, here's what I'll say.
Yeah,
I dig the look, and I kind of understand of Namor.
Yeah, the Aztec theme.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Like I've said multiple times on this podcast, I like adaptation.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I get that. But I'm totally okay as long as it's, how do I word
coherent?
this? Yeah. Like, I get Marvel's idea of going, okay, Aquaman's this huge thing. Granted, Namor is older than Aquaman in terms of real life timeline. Yeah. But I can understand Marvel's take of saying, okay, Aquaman has got Atlantis and this and that, so we want to try to make it different. If you just went with the comic book version of Namor and his Atlantis, it does bear a striking similarity to the DC universe, the movies version of Atlantis. Yeah. Granted, with blue people. But as long as Namor,
I think that was their issue, though. Is like they didn't want
it to be too similar.
They didn't want such a similarity that it felt like a ripoff to a general audience / normies. Yes. Which, I mean, that's been just a slew of characters between the two properties.
I don't hate the idea as long as if he's still fucking Namor. Yeah, I'm cool with
that's fine. And like as we're talking about it, I can think of just a quick way about, well, why are these Atlanteans like Aztec if Mexico City is a landlocked city and all this other shit? Well, you could say that there was an underground society below the city where it was an underwater society that bled into the ocean and entirely and then there was some catastrophic event and yada yada, but
the trailer gives no indication and nobody's said anything in interviews as to what, like, the history of this version of Atlantis, because again, it's not being called Atlantis.
We don't know anything yet.
They've tweaked a bunch of it, but from what I've seen, the stuff that they've kept is the stuff that to me was integral to Namor's version of Atlantis. Yeah. Like the wings on his feet, Again, I mentioned it a few times, but the blue Atlanteans.
Yeah.
The fact that he's the only one not blue, the only one that is able to breathe on both sides.
Yeah.
He looks, I'll give him this, he doesn't look comic book accurate Namor, but I did get Namor vibes from his physical acting in the trailer.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's going to work. I hope it works well. Since the trailer has come out, I think I've kind of switched sides on. I kind of wish they would have recast Chadwick.
I wish they had. It's something I've been saying for the longest time.
Like I understood Marvel's side of it, but after watching the trailer, it was like, man.
They were quick too. Like, it was less than a month after Chadwick died that they came out and said they're not going to recast. Yeah. And I'm like, that is the dumbest fucking thing. Because while I get you're trying to do it out of respect of Chadwick himself, he was only in that role for a movie and a half.
Yeah.
Well, he was in it for a full movie and then was in it for bits of other movies.
Yeah. Like, he was in Infinity War.
He was in Civil War, Infinity War.
So he's in 4 movies, one of which he's the main character.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that in Civil War he's a supporting player.
He's a supporting character, absolutely. Like, he's an
Infinity War, he doesn't get as much screen time, but he's pretty important in that movie.
Yeah, he's involved in it, and then he's in it the last 5 minutes of Endgame.
I do think though the challenge would be it doesn't matter who you got to play. T'Challa after Chadwick. It does not matter, I think, how good the actor is or how well he played the role.
Yeah.
I think there would always be people going, this guy sucked dick, he's not Chadwick. I think that would be a part of it.
I think so, but...
Because you can't tell me that there's not a very decent-sized portion of the fan base that just hates things. That's true. Decides to pick shit apart.
That's true, and it's a mentality issue that's been developed by cultural tribal warfare over the last, I'll say, since 2012.
Probably the last 5-6 years.
I'll say since 2012. 2011, 2012. Because they got away with replacing Rhodey in between Iron Man 1 and 2.
However... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I don't remember any, if at all, backlash on that.
There wasn't a lot of backlash that I can recall. But, in defense of that, that's a totally different scenario. Where Terrence Howard basically bitched that he wanted more money, and they were like, fuck off.
But not a lot of people not a lot of people were aware of that situation.
No, but it was also the second movie in what they had no idea it was going to be what it is now.
Yeah.
It was just an Iron Man sequel.
Yeah.
It wasn't a major player in a franchise.
Yeah, but
it's
not the first franchise either that's recasted.
It's not.
A side role or anything like that.
It's not, but you could argue that T'Challa is such an integral part to the Marvel cinematic, not even just the cinematic universe,
and they didn't even
to Marvel in general.
Yeah, and Marvel didn't even really leave it up for discussion either. They just immediately were like, "We're not going to do it." And even at the time too, a lot of people were like, "Ah."
Yeah, I remember.
And then as time went on, they're like, "I think you should recast." And then after this trailer came out, it was overwhelmingly decided that they should have recasted T'Challa.
I think it would have. Again, the movie's not out yet, so maybe whatever they do will be badass. Maybe.
Well, I mean, a lot of people aren't upset that the sister character is going to be quote-unquote Black Panther or trying to take up the mantle.
But man, like, regardless of it not being Chadwick, if you could get somebody like what's Denzel's son's name? John David Washington?
Somebody suggested him recently. I believe it was somebody on Nerdrotic or whatever. But yeah, John David Washington.
I don't know if...
He was in, what was that?
He was in Tenet?
Yeah, Tenet. When that trailer first came out, I was half paying attention to it. I thought that was Chadwick Boseman.
Well, that's just because you're racist.
Yeah, they all look the same. They're like Chinese people, you know?
But I genuinely think, and I think it would be an uphill battle for whoever replaced him because you would have to be following. Chadwick brought. He was fucking.
He brought a regalness to the character that I believe you mentioned to me.
He auditioned for Drax.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning
they didn't do him for that.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is, imagine again. We've heard no dialogue from this Namor, but the philosophical debate that you have in the comics between Black Panther and Namor all the time. Every time they butt heads, there's always 2 pages of them going back and forth on this philosophical debate. As much as I want to see them fight in a big Marvel CGI battle, fucking give me T'Challa and Namor shit talking each other, and both of them being right, and both of them having points, and like as long as Namor is still Namor, I think his changes will work. But I think as long as whoever they could have recast him would have still had that gravitas that T'Challa brought.
That worries me more now, because now we're gonna get this stern Namor trying to have a philosophical debate with a teenager, with a sassy teenager.
Well, I think that if we get it.
With 2 sassy teenagers.
Right, because Ironheart's in this too.
Yeah.
I think that if we get a Namor philosophical debate, or not debate, but I think it'll either be a speech where he's dressing down the Wakandans.
But that's racist. You can't do that.
Well, I mean, he's not white. You can't. You can only be racist if you're white. Everybody knows this, Josh.
But he's a man.
That's true. So I think the best way, if I'm writing it without Chadwick and without T'Challa, is you either give Namor a monologue where he dresses down the Wakandans for whatever he perceives they've done against them.
Yeah.
And it's all of them. Or if you get a debate, it's against the mom.
That would work.
Because I can't remember her character's name.
Yeah.
But T'Challa's mom, her character, had that same air about her that Chadwick brought to T'Challa.
Yeah.
So I could easily. And what if it ends with him killing her? Like they have this debate and they're getting closer and closer, and at some point he goes, "Yeah, well, fuck you," and stabs her in the heart. Like he wouldn't say "fuck you" because it's Marvel.
Or he's like walking away and she makes some snappy remark.
And he throws the spear.
And he just turns around and throws a spear.
Throws his nose bone.
He throws it like Moon Knight's like Moon.
Yes. Oh, speaking of Moon Knight, I'm going to go off a little bit. There's rumors that they're working on season 2. Have you seen that?
No.
What's his name? The actor.
Oh.
Oscar
Isaac.
He is in Cairo. And somebody, I don't know if it's
you think they're working on a season 2 or another MCU property that will have...
That makes sense too.
Yeah.
The only reason I say there's rumor is because they caught him in Cairo, and I don't know if it's a fan or if it was somebody in his group or what. This woman has her phone and she's filming like a selfie.
Yeah.
And it's with one of the directors, maybe some bald guy.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, "Are y'all working on a season 2 of Moon Knight?" And the guy's like, "Moon Knight? What is that? Never heard of it." And jokey. And then she pans over and there's Oscar with a big thick beard like he's about to film Dune.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why do you think we're in Cairo?" And then the video ends. So I like your theory because I think before we get a season 2, I think it would be interesting to see Jake Lockley's version of Moon Knight start popping up and shit.
Yeah.
Like we know they're filming Blade right now. It would be cool to see him in Blade.
I don't see him popping up in Blade.
No, because I think they're leading to like a Dark Avengers, not a Dark Avengers, but what would be the comparison? Like Justice League Dark.
Oh, like Midnight
Suns. Yeah. That's the term.
Yeah.
I think they're leading to that being a thing.
I pitched a quick like synopsis to a friend on Discord about that. Like my hopes going into like this next phase, because I remember we had talked about it a long time ago before No Way Home came out. My theory was right after they confirmed Blade was going to be in the MCU, and before No Way Home came out, my theory was hoping, well, they just canceled the Netflix Marvel stuff, and we both had similar ideas. Basically, it was like, all right, well, Peter Parker's going to need a lawyer. And
then they did it.
And they did it. They introduced Matt Murdock, and so the theory was he's going to need a lawyer. Matt Murdock's going to be it. And then during this whole kerfuffle, you're going to have the introduction of Morbius, who is going to be, trying to develop some sort of like cure-all serum, and it turns out he's testing it like on hobos or some shit. Like he's having people kidnapped and testing these serums and just releasing quote-unquote failed subjects back into the wild. Like they're not uncontrollable enough that they have to be terminated.
Yeah.
But it's giving them some sort of brain damage where nobody's going to think anything of it when they see this, kind of crazed maniac hobo. They're just going to be like, oh, it's a hobo. Like, this is normal. Oh. In New York.
Yeah, I've seen those gaunt, those pale nighttime
and then it turns out, like, Hell's Kitchen is having an increase in random attacks from hobos. And who's got to deal with this problem in Hell's Kitchen?
Which, speaking of, they showed...
Yeah.
Well, Daredevil is... Since coming back in Spider-Man, he's going to be in She-Hulk, and he's getting his own show, which I'm sorry, I think you were leading to that.
Well, I was just kind of theorizing like an overall plot of what would be happening in this whole phase.
Oh, I got you. Well,
and so I think, because like the idea is like, okay, well, it turns. My idea would be, Daredevil is trying to figure out why there's this increase of random attacks from these hobos, and then, he starts using his heightened senses to, like, figure something out, and so, like, something happens, and, like, he damages one of them pretty badly. They start bleeding. He's like, there's something different about it.
Like he'd smell it.
Yeah, like he'll say, like, typically I'll smell the iron for sure in the blood, but there's something different about this. And so then, like, he starts contacting with Peter Parker, and he's like, hey, you're a smart kid, what can you do about this, Yeah. And then it turns out Kingpin has hired Morbius to do some crazy experiment. And then Blade comes in, and it's like, I hear you have a random vampire problem.
Well, and speaking
and then Kraven comes in and finds out...
Aaron Taylor Johnson's Kraven.
Yeah, Kraven comes in, he's like, I don't know who this Spider-Man is. He just appeared out of nowhere. And he's a menace.
I do think it's interesting, though, Feige's come out and said that Spider-Man and Daredevil are going to be, for want of a better term, like leading the street-level heroes.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good choice.
I think that's alright.
Like, I had seen some people... Like, a lot of people online saying, like, because there's a rumor that, well, not necessarily a rumor, if you look at what Marvel's done post-Endgame, it does look like one of the projects they are building towards, just like they're building towards the Dark Avengers.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, not the Dark Avengers, the Thunderbolts, which has been announced. It does look like they're leading to a Young Avengers, because you've got Kamala Khan and Kate Bishop and fucking, you've got all these younger folks. America Chavez type stuff.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people.
Oh God, I forget about those characters.
I've seen a lot of people not liking the idea of Spider-Man being in the Young Avengers. Like, he's not a fucking Young Avenger. He's been an Avenger. Like, bitch, please, you went to space,
Yeah.
But I could totally see still doing it if he's the leader. If it's like
kind of like as a mentor figure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where, hey guys, I've been an Avenger. I went to space and fought Thanos. You guys, like, let me, a very quick pitch, like what if they're individually fucking stuff up, trying to be heroes?
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, because they're all in New York, just keeps coming up and is like, hey, stop this shit. Let me show you the ropes, and gathers them up and or whatever. I'm not saying.
Well,
that's a great
I was gonna
pitch,
say, like, he'll come to him from the perspective of somebody who's reeling from the events of Endgame and getting his bearings as an individual, but is still like well established as Spider-Man.
Yeah, because
like
he knows Spider-Man.
It's like he knows how to be Spider-Man.
Yeah,
with
his kick-ass hand-sewn suit.
Yeah, like he's not new to his powers or anything.
Yeah.
So I could see him coming in as somebody who would help them hone their powers while
helping deal with the bigger threat of the movie.
Yeah. Just like kind of, like you said, like showing the ropes as somebody who's been in a position of overwhelming odds while still being new to their own issues.
Yeah.
So I could see that, but it's... Oh, fuck. God, it's going to be a fucking mess and a half. Because they're in this territory now where, like... You're at a point now where, like, the latest Doctor Strange movie, you will have had to have watched WandaVision and what else?
You know what, though? I think at this point, they're not going to do it because they're always going to try to make sure it's accessible to the wider audience. But I think at this point...
But they're pitting...
Stop.
They're pitting themselves into a corner, and it's what hurt Doctor Strange 2, outside of its bad writing. It's hurt them to where, like, if you've got normies who didn't watch any of the Disney Marvel stuff, and you're going from Doctor Strange 1 to 2,
yeah.
It's like what? Like, I know who WandaVision is, or I know who Wanda is because of like these other Marvel movies, but I never watched the show. What the fuck happened?
You know what, though? I think that's... I don't think that it's... I think all of them have been that way. You look at all of the serialized films, like, none of them... You need the other... Like, Marvel is not... Okay, at this point, and I don't think ever, Marvel is not the film company that is building out serialized franchises of the individual characters. The franchise is the Marvel thing. So, like, everything is the next movie to the previous movie.
It kinda...
Like, at this point, I think, fuck the general audience. You're making the movies for nerds. Just keep your storyline going.
You should.
Nah, fuck them.
Well, I mean, you should make it for your devoted audience instead of trying to pander to a niche group of people. But at the same time, you want to keep it coherent enough because even quote-unquote nerds, like, they're not going to keep up with every single thing, or they may not have time to, you know?
Okay, but let's use probably the most popular trilogy. And using your example of going from Doctor Strange 1 to Doctor Strange 2 making no fucking sense.
Yeah.
If you've never watched any of the others. Go from Captain America 1 to Captain America 2 without watching anything else and tell me why he's working for S.H.I.E.L.D. the way he is. Tell me...
You would only have to watch one more movie, though.
You would need the Avengers at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
You don't have to watch Age of Ultron.
It would help. No, Age of Ultron comes after Winter Soldier.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, to that point, go from Winter Soldier to 3. How much of that makes sense without other movies?
Captain America 3?
Yeah, like, what was the timeline between 2 and 3? How many movies came out between that?
I think only one more.
Because you needed Age of Ultron, because of the Sokovia shit. What else?
Oh, God. See, in Age of Ultron is... poop.
No.
It's poop.
No.
It is awful.
Example.
It's poop.
Nope. You can't just keep saying that. You got.
I can't say that. It's poop.
Nope. Why?
I remember watching it. It was like bleh.
Why?
I don't even remember. It was just poop.
Which means you're full of shit right
now.
No,
like it's poop. You're
slinging. What is bad about it? Don't say the writing. Give me an example of the writing. If it's the writing, give me that.
I haven't even seen that movie in forever. I just remember the last time I watched it, I just didn't feel good watching it because it just was all over the goddamn place.
Such as?
I can't even remember. I've blocked that movie out, and I haven't seen it in years.
I don't like when you do that. When you go, it's garbage, and I go, why is it garbage? Because I said so.
It's just poop.
God. Like, I'm totally down for a debate on why something's good or bad, but you gotta have examples, man.
Oh, God, I don't remember.
Like, every time you tell me why something's garbage and I try to convince you why it's not, I have examples as to why I think it's good.
And for the most part, I have examples as to why it's poop.
Most of the time, you just say the writing sucks and don't give examples.
I do give examples.
Not all the time.
I do. When was the last time I did give an example?
Most of the time, it's stupid.
Yeah, but when was that?
Loki. I'll use Loki.
A
lot of your examples where Loki was it's stupid.
I gave examples as to why it's stupid.
And I would always give examples as to why it's not, and you would go, no, it's just stupid. No matter how.
No,
good
I
of
would
an
tell you it
explanation
doesn't
I
make
gave
any sense.
Like, okay, just.
And then you would say it doesn't have to make sense.
That is not. Okay, just. We're not gonna go on a Loki tangent right now.
Loki is hot fucking garbage.
I'll give you.
It has ruined everything in the first episode.
Like, I'll give you the one. Again, I don't want us to go on a Loki tangent because there's other stuff for us to talk about.
The time cops are the dumbest fucking thing that they could have introduced.
The TVA.
The TBA. You tell me how the TBA could handle Zeus.
Wait, what?
In Thor: Love and Thunder.
Did the TVA show up in
No,
that?
they didn't. No, they are not mentioned. Nothing about anything related to that is mentioned.
I thought you were going to say that they showed up and fucked Zeus up.
No.
Like, what?
No, but you...
Spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. You're kind of like, how would they do that? It's Zeus.
Okay, no. But
How would the TVA handle...
My response wasn't how would they do that. My response was, holy shit, the TVA showed up in that?
Yeah, they were actually kind of relevant. No, they haven't been mentioned since Loki.
But that's kind of the thing of the TVA is no one fucking knows about them. Not even Loki knew they existed.
Yeah, but...
He's the god of mischief. But, again, not going down a tangent on Loki.
There's existence is stupid and Loki's stupid.
Okay. Agree to disagree. I will say that the one argument that I always... I'm not going to say I liked, but that I saw a lot online was the whole reveal of the drawer full of stones.
Yeah.
And people saying it made everything before that irrelevant because in this...
It took away the weight.
I disagree because I think the whole point of that was to show that all of Loki's tricks and shit like that, all the things that... This place is so much bigger than the petty squabbles over these glowy stones that admittedly are reality-altering stones in your universe, but this is outside the universe. It was to show Loki that you are fucking with a power scale you have not conceived yet, or have not thought of yet. They are so much higher than you in terms of what is capable here. You are just a dude here. We keep Infinity Stones as fucking paperweights. You are powerless here. You're just another guy. That was the point of that scene, was to show Loki, fucking quit trying to break out with this shit. Stop it.
I can see that, and that's probably on the better end of arguments that I've heard. It still takes away the weight of everything we've seen, though.
I disagree.
Because now you've got this made-up, no-rule space-time cop organization that... Again, like they break their own canon. They break their own rules that they try to establish.
Are you saying the cartoon at the beginning versus Kang's explanation at the end?
No, just like the way they operate doesn't make any fucking sense.
The whole point of the TVA is to make sure there's no more Kangs.
Yeah, but they're getting into timeline. They're taking people who were late to work.
Yeah, fuck them.
By 5 minutes and erasing them from their existence.
Hey, that guy being late, causing a new timeline, could have led to a Kang. Maybe him being late meant that whoever Kang's ancestor was got to go to the bar a little sooner and met his ancestor and fucked her. I'm not saying it's a good excuse. I'm just giving an excuse.
It's fucking dumb.
Okay.
The whole... to show that they're involved to that minute scale, and then you've got this whole timeline of events that just somehow played out perfectly enough for them.
Well, and I don't think that the sacred timeline, when they showed it at the end, I don't think that was one timeline. I think that was a group of them because it was too big.
Well, the issue now is like the only way that they're gonna retcon things going forward, because they put themselves in a corner in Loki and try to establish rules as to how this organization operates.
Well, the way I am understanding it was like where Kang had it, or excuse me, the He Who Remains had a script. Yeah, it's definitely Kang.
Yeah.
Dude, I fucking squealed like a 5-year-old when that elevator opened and it was Jonathan Majors. I was like, oh shit, they're doing Kang. But anyway.
It was such a lame Kang, though.
He hasn't even been Kang yet. You don't.
It was such a lame scene.
No,
it was such a lame, boring scene.
Well, okay, sure. But the way I'm understanding it, or not understanding it, but the way I'm interpreting it, is the script he had, it's a loop.
Uh-huh.
Like, he's already done this before, and his previous script ends at X point.
Yeah.
Because, assumedly, that's when Sylvie killed, or whoever he had before, if it was Sylvie.
Yeah.
Or whatever, that's when they killed him. So that's why he can only see to a certain degree.
Right.
And because they killed him last time, that's why the fucking loop started again.
Yeah.
And he had to, Kangs and blah, blah, blah. I think that's where we're leading again, obviously.
We're leading to
is that now we're in the unscripted zone where more Kangs are going to show up, and we're leading to the Secret Wars where everything's probably going to come to a head and then filter out back into one nice thing.
Yeah, and that's where I'm of the mind that they're going to be going back on things that they attempted to establish in Loki. Where it's like the first episode, they are very quick to establish the rules of the TBA and how they operate. And going forward, you like every Marvel property, you have to have that in your head that the TBA exists. And are they going to be involved in this situation? Okay, well, they weren't involved in this situation. And then you got something...
Or were they?
That's what I mean, is that they're going to go back and retcon shit. They're going to go back and reinsert themselves like, oh, you remember in...
Retcons, though, aren't necessarily a bad thing. Bad execution could be a thing, but retcons aren't necessarily a bad thing. We talked about it earlier in this exact episode about the retcon of Barry being the lightning bolt that hit him, where we both liked that.
That's not a retcon.
Yes, it is.
No.
Because in the comics, it was just a lightning bolt hit him, and it was because of the chemicals in the lightning bolt. Having it be a retcon where he's the lightning bolt going back in time and hitting himself. That's a retcon.
Yeah, kind of.
Retcons aren't bad. Just like reshoots. When movies get over and they have to go back for reshoots aren't necessarily a bad thing.
Okay, the scale of retcon.
It could be
the
big.
Severity of a retcon.
I agree. It could be a bad thing.
I feel like it's going to be a lot throughout this.
I don't see the need for it, though. Like,
there isn't a need
to retcon. What do you think they would retcon?
I don't know, and that's the scary part.
You're just worried that it's a possibility?
I think what they're going to do is catastrophic. I mean, it's already a garbled mess.
Sure.
It's already a fucking mess and a half. But with the type of people that they're hiring and the writers that they're getting, God knows how much more they're going to fuck this up.
I mean, I think
because it's already going to be so entirely convoluted.
I think it's possible to, like, again, we've got 2 more years of this multiverse saga.
Yeah.
I say 2 more years.
And the TBA is still a thing.
It is.
Right?
Well, a version of the TVA. Because at the end of Loki Season 1, which we're getting a Season 2.
Yeah.
Which maybe will expound upon the things that you're talking about. Maybe it'll try to do... I don't know. We don't know fucking anything about Season 2. The only thing we know is that Sylvie and Loki are coming back, and there's going to be probably time shenanigans.
Yeah, but I mean, as we know it, with these movies that take place after Loki, I guess I don't even know.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to put it. Like, because
there's
the timeline thing with them being outside of time makes it weird.
Yeah.
We're like, as far as we know,
I didn't even really think about that until just now, actually. Because going like with all these movies, I just assumed the TVA was still a thing.
I would assume. Okay, so at the end of Loki season 1, after Sylvie kills Kang's future version,
yeah,
she pushes using specifically. I'm gonna point this one out.
Yeah.
Using Kang's fucking teleporter.
Yeah.
Not the one they used to get there that
Yeah.
can only go through.
Yeah, she pushed
used
Loki.
Kang's to push Loki through a portal.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know, maybe we'll learn, we don't know what exactly Kang's, Timpad, I think they call them.
Yeah.
We don't know what exactly his is capable of. Because when she pushes him through the thing, and Loki ends up back at the TVA, it's a TVA where Kang is in charge. They get a giant statue of him,
Yeah.
and blah, blah, blah. So, it's possible that it's an alternate universe TVA.
Yeah.
It's possible that simply killing Kang and spreading out the branches I don't know. That was the point.
See, that's even more convoluted.
It was a cliffhanger. That's the point.
Yeah, I know.
What's going to happen next? And then they'll explain it in the next season. But I agree with you that depending on what they try to do, if they try to retcon something, that a retcon could be bad. Where it definitely depends a lot on execution.
I really, God, if I would not want to touch this property at all.
Shit, dude.
As a writer or director, outside of being an actor, I would not want to touch this property with a 10-foot pole.
Actually, the way you lambast it, you should want to be a writer, because maybe you could fix the things that are broken.
I don't know how I could fix it. I honestly don't. Outside of just nuking the timeline.
Which, again, Secret Wars might be the way. I mean, we got to remember that Marvel claims to have, the story built out for fucking however many years.
I mean, they claimed that before, but then we're getting writers who are unaware of previous properties and inserting things that go against events.
Like, shit, if you want to talk about what might be a confusing one, just in terms, like, not even because of time travel, we've still got Secret Wars, or Secret Invasion coming, which will probably reveal that there's a lot of fucking Skrulls hidden on Earth that have been taking the place of, person X, person Y.
Yeah.
And then the question of how long have they been a Skrull will come up.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I could see that, like, that could work easy. You could do that, because then you're leaning into the whole, especially if they keep like the J. Jonah thing, who's already like a parody of Alex Jones. Yeah. I could see them being like J. Jonah Jameson coming out like, I told you these people are lizard people.
Well, just a quick rundown on the cast that have been announced, at least. First off, the but
yeah,
it says the creator of this show is the guy that did Mr. Robot. Did you ever watch that?
Oh, yeah, it was a pretty good show.
So you've got Sam Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, Colby Smulders, Martin Freeman, and Don Cheadle their names are first, so I'm assuming they're like the mains.
Yeah. And
then Emilia Clarke has been cast.
Oh. Oh, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Olivia Colman. Excuse me. A guy named Kingsley Benadir, whose name I don't recognize. Apparently he's been in something called One Night in Miami. I don't know the name or the film.
Don't know it.
But I think that one it's a series on Disney Plus. I think the Secret Invasion has the potential to be one of the more ambitious things they go for.
Yeah.
Because Secret Invasion could drastically change the landscape. It genuinely could, much like Loki could, where you're saying, now you have to think about, is the TVA done X,
you've got
Y,
to
or
keep
Z?
these things in the back of your mind.
Now we'll have to think about, much like we did in the comics, who's a Skrull.
Yeah.
Which they kept that fucking storyline, the whole Skrulls being somebody else.
Oh, man.
They kept that going for fucking years.
Yeah.
Where you had reveals still going on in the comics.
And there's things that I'm thinking of now from Thor Love and Thunder.
Which I'm waiting on Disney Plus. I still haven't gotten a chance to go see
Oh,
it.
God, I wish I could say it. No, I can't say it. You have to watch it.
Okay.
Because it's so fucking absurd. And then if... Maybe you'll have the same thought.
We'll have to have an episode
After
I see it.
After you watch it, we'll have to have another
with
episode.
Thor.
Yeah.
Kang's supposed to be the main villain in Ant-Man 3. Ant-Man 3 Quantumania, Kang is supposed to be the first real, as far as I understand, the first real showing of a Kang.
Okay.
Not Kang.
Yeah.
A Kang.
A Kang?
Because the rumor I've also heard is
was Kangs?
Is we're going to get a bunch of Kangs.
Oh my God, Kangs?
Maybe not just an Ant-Man, but the way I'm understanding it is that Jonathan Majors is going to play various versions of Kangs in multiple properties. So, like, let's just say, again, story's not out, but let's say Ant-Man and the Wasp fight this Kang and end up defeating him.
Well, it's not just Ant-Man and the Wasp.
You're right. I don't know what they're going to call her.
I don't know. Is it his daughter?
It is.
Okay.
Who they recasted. But I think, like, let's just say Ant-Man and them kill this Kang.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I heard coming out of Comic-Con that, because they had a small trailer teaser maybe for that they didn't release online. Allegedly there was a handful of trailers that Disney put out at Comic-Con that haven't been released yet, like a Mandalorian trailer, a Ahsoka Tano series trailer.
Yeah.
But Ant-Man allegedly had something shown, maybe just a scene or some test footage or something.
Yeah.
But it has allegedly Ant-Man saying something to Kang like, I'm an Avenger, and he goes, oh, an Avenger, have I killed you yet? Or like, something to that effect. Which, to imply that Kang is the conqueror that we know him to be. I think another thing we could get out of all of this is, I don't know where it would happen.
Yeah.
Unless they end up doing a Young Avengers thing, which would, to me, make the most sense. Doing the Iron Lad, who was a young version of Kang.
Yeah. Like,
Iron Lad, I don't know how familiar you are with the character.
Not exactly.
He was introduced in Young Avengers, one of the runs.
Okay.
Where he is a version of Kang from the far future who has designed his own armor. Similar to Iron Man, but it's like nanotech or some shit like that. And at some point in his timeline, when he's like in his teens, another Kang shows up and is like, hey, I'm you from the future. You're supposed to be a god. Let me show you what we're capable of. Yeah. And he was like, fuck this, and jumped into the past. Yeah. And so the Young Avengers in this storyline, teaming up with this Kang, team up because the other one that he ran away from comes back and they have to fight Kang. Yeah. So I think if they do a Young Avengers, Kang will probably be involved in that. Because I don't have the actual like picture of the slate here, but I know that for Phase 6, Phase 5 has all the slots filled, I think. Yeah. I think there might be one gap or two gaps. But Phase 6 starts with Fantastic Four and ends with a pair of Avengers movies. And there's 8 empty gaps. Yeah. Unannounced films. And I think in there, probably you can get your Young Avengers or your, I don't know, fucking maybe they go Inhumans. You know, probably.
Yeah. I know they're, well...
Or not Inhumans, not just Inhumans, but the mutants. Like, I still wish that, I hope that's a series. Because I think that...
I hope they change the fucking name.
I'm just using that as a broad term, because that's what Feige's been...
Yeah.
Oh, pause that. That's going to be terrible background noise. Well, not because of the song, but the noise itself. Yeah. Feige has said that he keeps using the phrase, the mutants. Yeah. So, like, I assume... that's a working title right now?
Maybe.
Like, I haven't seen anything else on it. other than it's, they're working on something for the movie.
Right. Yeah, I don't.
We talked a little bit earlier about Daredevil coming back.
Oh yeah, he's getting his own show.
He's getting dude. They seem to, now that they got Charlie Cox.
Oh God.
It seems like they're going, fuck yeah, let's use Daredevil because he's going to be in She-Hulk. Wearing a red and yellow suit, man. I don't know how you feel about that, but when I watched that trailer and he shows up at the very end,
I'm okay with it. I just hope it doesn't last.
I agree. I don't think his yellow and red suit in the comics didn't last very long either.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's
But that was
for She-Hulk.
Yeah. But what I should know Daredevil better, but it wasn't the red and yellow suit after his
the homemade black suit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the red and yellow was his first suit.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, because this isn't the same Daredevil that we got from Netflix.
No, it's a variant who's probably got a similar history, but maybe not the same history.
I was gonna say, you've heard how they talked about how they have to change up the characters from Netflix.
Yeah, it's a small percentage or something.
Yeah. They have to change variations by percentage. So I'm willing to bet that this is a little bit more stronger Daredevil than in the Netflix, because all the Netflix
now, when
versions.
You say stronger, do you mean physically?
Yeah.
I did like that he got some flippy shit going.
I was gonna say, yeah,
it's very acrobatic.
That's kind of what gives me the idea that we're gonna have kind of an amped up version,
maybe slightly enhanced.
Yeah, everybody,
okay with that,
because they did that with Kingpin.
Okay.
The Kingpin we got at the end of
Kingpin's almost definitely a mutant in my eyes. Now that they've said the word in Ms. Marvel.
You think?
Okay, I don't know.
Or you think he's got some?
I don't know. I don't want him to be a mutant.
Yeah.
But Kingpin in the comics.
Yeah.
Had super strength to a degree.
Yeah.
And he had it was only 2% body fat or some shit like that. And it was he was just huge.
He was just straight muscle.
Giant man.
Yeah.
500 pounds of straight fucking beef. This Kingpin that we got in Hawkeye, I really liked because they gave us he had just enough of the Netflix Kingpin that it still felt like that. Yeah. And then they amped him up a little bit by I don't know if it's body armor or if they're going with thick skin.
He took a fucking missile, didn't he?
He got hit by a car, but or in order. He got shot in the chest, a heart shot with an arrow. She shot him dead fucking center.
Uh-huh.
I think he broke it off.
Yeah.
And then her mom hits him with a car into a building, or not through a window of a store, and he breaks all of Kate's trick arrows, one of which is some kind of explosion.
Yeah.
And she sets it off, and it blows up on the ground in front of him and throws him against the wall.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't come off unscathed after all this. He still took some damage, but he took a lot of damage. Yeah. Now, I like that because it's very comic booky. Yeah. But it's also, how did he do that? Is it body armor, or are you going to make him actually more durable somehow?
Yeah, I think you can do that without him being a mutant.
I agree. That's just my first, come to mind.
Oh, God, I don't know. Because if they start amping up these characters just slightly...
It doesn't have to be a lot.
No, it doesn't. But I don't know if you...
I think in the MCU, not necessarily.
They've set a precedent where you might need an explanation. Yeah. So it's if you've got Kingpin who's able to take an inhuman amount of damage. Yeah. And then you're gonna have Daredevil who's able to leap and bound.
Well, and we didn't see in that little clip. You don't see where he jumps from. He just jumps into frame. So he could have been on top of her fucking car for all we know.
Yeah, but it was a long jump.
It was a big flip. I'll give you that. But I think in an D'Onofrio, Netflix Daredevil's Kingpin would get rocked by Peter Parker. Yeah. Because he's just a dude. Yeah. And in this world where he's now going to be potentially dealing with Spider-Man, he needs to be more comic book Kingpin, where he can take more of a beating. I agree with you, we need an explanation. But we're also getting him in Echo and allegedly in Daredevil's series, which is called Born Again. 18 fucking episodes, too. None of them have gotten that many episodes. No. Like, Jesus. I think the longest series we got was 9 episodes. 10, and I think
how long was WandaVision?
9.
Was
I think
it
WandaVision
9?
was the longest, and I think the others got like 6 or 7 apiece.
It was like 7 or 8.
Daredevil's about to, like, it seems they're gonna use the shit out of him.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
I'm hesitant. We'll see
you know how I feel about the MCU right now.
I know. Well, I'm still of the we'll have to wait and see mentality for it, because
there is a chance that, like, there's a restructure similar to what happened to DC, where somebody comes in and is like, all right, I'm cleaning house. I'm not hiring any more fucking retards. I'm only hiring competent people, and I want established writers or people who are competent enough that I can hand them material and they will know what they're dealing with. None of these activist fucking writers that we got, like what happened with WandaVision or Loki. Because I think the writer for Loki is handling another Disney property.
Probably.
And it's... Oh.
They like to keep that in-house.
The retards, yeah.
No, I meant like we use this guy
reusing
for this
assets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see though. I mean, I think with a recent precedent with WB, I hope something happens, because right now Disney Marvel is in a worse mess.
Well, like DC's
in terms of business and everything.
Yeah.
They're in a worse mess.
Well, like, DC's ability to completely reboot is totally different, though.
Yeah.
Because they don't have anything ongoing.
I was going to say, they don't have the scale they don't have the scale established.
Like, for Marvel, in order to do something like that, you need if they want to keep it going, right? You need a reboot movie like Secret Wars.
Right.
Whereas with DC, they could just go...
You could just start with one character and move on from there.
Start now.
Yeah.
Like, they could just be done.
Yeah.
And start over, because they don't have fucking 10 years of storytelling having already happened.
Yeah.
You know, DC's... The closest we've gotten to a DC actual universe was the Snyderverse.
Yeah.
And they let that burn.
Yeah.
Which... I wish we could have gotten more of that.
I have very little interest in Black Adam, and the only thing of that interests me is Pierce Brosnan's who's he playing?
Dr. Fate.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm curious about.
You don't want to see The Rock play The Rock wearing a Black Adam suit?
I could care less about that.
Dude, speaking of that, I've not seen the movie. I'm gonna talk about this real quick before I get back to the Marvel list. Have you heard anything about Super Pets?
No.
Okay. I don't know where it happens in the movie, but I saw a scene that was on Instagram. Because I'm not super concerned about that movie, so I was like, I'll see what this little trailer is. That movie looks, from what I've seen, it actually looks fun. Like, I'm going to try, when it comes to a streaming service, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go pay more money for it, but I'm going to watch it when it comes to available. Because it looks like, to me, it looks like one of those movies that's like, you have no fucking right to be this good. Like... Potentially. Like, what's a good example? Sausage Party. Sausage Party looked really stupid when it first came out. Like, when I saw the trailers...
I didn't like it.
I ended up really liking that movie, but it looked... What's a better example?
The first Guardians movie?
Well, no. I'm saying animated.
Oh, animated?
Because there's another... Fuck. I had this example. I meant to bring this up on the show, and I had an example, and I'm totally blanking on it. But it's... You have Superman and Krypto at, like, the dog park or whatever.
Yeah.
And Krypto drops his toy or something like that.
Yeah.
And a Black Adam dog shows up and has the toy, and Crypto's like, "Hey, that's my toy," and he goes, "Well, why is it in my mouth?" And then it cuts, and Black Adam lands.
Yeah.
And Superman's like, "Hey, Black Adam," and he starts to say something, and then my clip ends.
Yeah.
There are 4 characters in that scene, and 3 of them are voiced by The Rock. He voices Crypto, he voices the Black Adam, and the dog.
Of course
it's The Rock's Black Adam.
That's hilarious.
Like, I don't know anything else about the movie.
That is so strange, too, because recently I saw they're getting ready to release, with the action figures and stuff, they're getting ready to release a new wave, and McFarlane's been doing the DC character, the multiverse character figures.
Oh, yeah.
And those are fantastically detailed figures. And they're doing one for the Black Adam movie. But they also recently, and it was something I just saw, they recently released a Black Adam figure that was more comic accurate.
Oh.
So...
Like with the pointy hair, like with the widow's peak? And
yeah, he's a little bit more comic accurate. But, I mean, I don't think that's an indication of anything, really, because... You go to Walmart right now and you see the variants of Batman figures.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of Bat figures.
Yeah. So, I it's kind of interesting that in an animated DC movie that isn't, for what we know so far, isn't related to the overarching
I don't think so.
DCEU, it's kind of interesting that they would use The Rock's Black Adam.
Yeah, it's an odd choice. Like, I remember when I saw the little clip, I was like, what the fuck? Like, why is this happening?
Yeah, because, like, every other character that we've seen so far is pretty, like...
like its own original version.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're pretty, what do you call it? Standard? They're pretty standard to, like, the comic version.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see why they did that. What else you got? Where are we at? We're at, like... 2 hours, 30 minutes.
2:30? Well, I mean, along with Daredevil getting his own show, there's a rumor that Bernathal's coming back for one of those. One of the things Daredevil is in may be Born Again, but one of the things, allegedly, they got Bernthal to come back.
I could see either Echo or Daredevil series.
I'm assuming it's the Daredevil series, but I don't have any concrete info on that. Let's see what else was important to talk about.
Because I remember him saying specifically he wouldn't come back as Punisher unless they did it the way they did the Netflix. Like, he wanted his Punisher.
Which I totally understand.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
because the Netflix Punisher and Daredevil, that was peak Marvel.
Yeah. Daredevil season 1, in my opinion, still.
Yeah.
Having had all the shit that's happened that I like.
Yeah.
I don't love everything Marvel has done. I could sit here and tell you, well, I thought this was kind of dumb, but I could sit here and talk shit.
Yeah.
But the overall, I still love these movies. Daredevil Season 1 was the best thing Marvel has put their stamp on that's live action.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. That was peak Marvel.
Yeah.
Because it was still MCU, quote unquote.
It was MCU adjacent.
Yeah. And that was like the best thing. And it still is.
Like, there was something about they could only do so much, and with what they were able to do. I'm talking about, like, connecting it to the broader universe. For whatever reason, I don't know why, for whatever reason, they could only do so much to connect it. And I felt they had a really good balance of keeping it Marvel while also letting it be its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just hoping, with 18 fucking episodes, I'm hoping we get at least a fraction of what Netflix Marvel was.
Well,
I don't think...
As I was going to say, as somebody who's just absolutely fucking hated everything so far, post Endgame, and I've watched Endgame now, I think
the only thing you've liked was Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's the only thing I've really liked.
And like, it's not without its faults either.
No, it's absolutely got its issues, but like it's incredibly more rewatchable for me. Yeah. In terms of everything.
Part of that might have to do with the nostalgia and the of having the other spiders in it.
Nope. No. All three Spider-Man movies I think are rewatchable for me. Because while the story is like convoluted, or not convoluted, it's kind of all over the place. It's the character writing. They did solid work with the characters.
Yeah, they did.
So I think all that is good. But if I were to be a little bit more on the optimist side going forward with the MCU, I think the introduction of Disney Plus's add-on of Logan and
bringing more of the more adult stuff.
Yeah,
Deadpool in there now.
Yeah, I think with the introduction of that, I think there is a chance we might get Daredevil.
Maybe
that edge. I guess.
I think it'll still be a little polished,
more adult themed.
Yeah. I think it'll be more polished, but I think it'll be. I hope they at least, and I say at least, I hope they do more, but I hope they at least have the same level of brutality that Moon Knight had. Moon Knight had, admittedly, a lot of it was implied brutality.
Yeah,
because of the
they're leaning into it. It seems, and I think they're trying to just test waters.
Well,
maybe
I mean, look at Doctor Strange, dude. They got fucking brutal in that movie.
They did. And
granted, that's a Sam Raimi thing.
Oh well, yeah. I was gonna say, and originally too, when that movie was first announced, and it was announced Sam Raimi was going to be attached to it. The original idea was that he wanted an R-rating horror.
Yep.
And I was all about that.
Oh, yeah.
And then what we got was not that.
It was not.
I hate it.
He still had his elements, though.
There's definitely Sam Raimi in it.
When Wanda twisted Professor X's fucking head around.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she snapped his neck.
Yeah. But the writing and everything for that was not Raimi. It was not Raimi.
He wrote that.
No. Whoever touched that script, whoever doctored it,
the punch-up people, or not the punch-up people, but
whoever messed with it after, whoever decided the events were gonna happen, they fucking ruined it for me. But there's definitely Sam Raimi in it.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Go ahead.
Oh god.
Well, speaking on witchcraft, one of the shows got a new title. Do you remember Agatha House of Harkness?
Yeah,
was announced.
Yeah. I don't know why they're doing that.
Well, and here's my theory, based off nothing.
Okay.
Other than the title change.
I was going to say, nothing's been announced about that?
Just the title.
Just title, okay.
So, when they first announced it, last year, maybe several months ago.
Yeah.
It was called Agatha House of Harkness, but now it is called Agatha Coven of Chaos, which is, I think, better. But
Coven of
I think
Chaos.
that works better than House of Harkness. House of Harkness, okay. Because, again,
Agatha, cock.
Again, all we have to go on is the title, right?
Yeah.
We've got no story stuff. House of Harkness, to me, sounds like a telling of adventures of her, in the past. Coven of Chaos sounds like she's building a coven.
Yeah.
I think, because I still don't think Wanda Maximoff died in Doctor Strange.
I don't think so.
I don't think she's dead, and I think she comes back in this.
What if that version of Wanda died, and then we get the Wanda that she tried to inhabit the body of? Because she went back to her universe.
Well, yeah, you're right, because they were in where the Book of the Shanty is, and she went back to her.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll do it. Just like I don't think they're going to bring Killmonger back and it be him being a Black Panther from another universe.
I don't see that happening.
I don't think she's dead. When I recently rewatched Doctor Strange.
First or second?
Second.
Oh.
When the mountain thing crushes, there's like a blast, not a blast, but like her power light comes out of the mountain.
There's a dissipation of energy.
I don't think she died. If anything, she's like being contained there. I don't think she's
could be
dead.
written one way or the other, so I think ultimately it's whatever they decide.
Raimi left it open for Marvel to do whatever they want. If they want to keep her dead, if they want to bring her back. But I think that's where we get... I think Wanda might be coming back in that. I have nothing to base that on other than the title change.
I mean, yeah, I think she's definitely coming back, but it's dependent on what version of Wanda we get.
Yeah.
But
Well, okay, in the comics, Agatha was never a clear-cut villain.
Yeah.
She was more of like just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you and I weren't, but I was talking about this with one of my coworkers. Would you classify the Grand Master and the Collector as villains?
No.
No, they're not good guys.
Yeah.
They're just kind of there and kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Wanda, I think, now post Darkhold, like maybe you could do a thing. Agatha as well, because she's not being fucked with the Darkhold. I think you could do a thing, not a redemption arc for Agatha, because I think you should keep her being kind of a dick.
Well, they tried.
Because Catherine Hahn is great.
They tried to establish she had her own They tried to justify her intentions in WandaVision as to why she turned out the way she did.
She's power hungry, if I remember correctly.
Well, she
killed her coven.
Okay, I was trying to remember because I remember they had opened up on one scene where she was explaining how she was supposed to get killed.
Yeah, she was going to be burned at the stake, and if I remember right, she already had access to the Darkhold at that time.
Yeah.
So she's been being corrupted by the Darkhold for fucking, centuries.
Yeah.
Wanda getting corrupted by the Darkhold, and now Doctor Strange being corrupted by the Darkhold. Which, did you hear, speaking of that, real quick, the original idea for that, where he, with the third eye and stuff, the original idea was that it was going to be revealed that him and Sinister Strange switched places. The one he fought with the music and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going that way now, because they didn't have that.
They didn't imply that.
No. That's not what I said.
Oh.
That's what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
They were going to do that and, have a post-credits or something like that showing
it was supposed to reveal that?
Yeah, but instead they, I guess, decided to do something else. Of course, they could still reveal that in the future, but I don't think they're going to.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was, the weirdest fucking thing, though. It was just, in a post-credit scene, all of a sudden he's got a third eye.
Yeah, it was weird. Of course, that's very Raimi to me. You look at something like Evil Dead, where Ash just wakes up in the fucking, in the past.
Oh, in the Middle Ages? Yeah.
Strange. Okay, again, having watched it again recently, I feel they did just enough to lay the groundworks for him starting to become more like the Sinister Strange, because they make several comments, like Wong mainly gives him a lot of shit several times about the Darkhold corrupts everyone who it touches.
Yeah,
this Sinister Strange was corrupted and he gets the third eye, which Strange has been depicted with a third eye before.
Yeah,
but Strange didn't just use the Darkhold.
Yeah.
He used the Darkhold to dreamwalk into his own corpse from another reality. Then grabbed a bunch of spirits and used them like a cloak to get to Mount Wundagore.
I thought that was cool.
Who then fled through his body into our Strange in another universe. There was so much dark shit he was tapping into. Major dark magic.
Yeah.
So it's totally set up and implied that he kind of speed ran his corruption.
Yeah.
I do agree that the third eye seemed to come out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Especially the post-credits, where Clea shows up, and he's, like, suddenly totally cool with it. We have no fucking idea about a time gap there.
Yeah.
Like, I agree that is confusing. But I do think they did enough setup in it to justify it. So yeah, I think we might be getting Wanda in House of Harkness, or excuse me, Coven of Chaos.
Yeah.
We've got an official announcement for the next Captain America called New World Order, which we'll see. I'm trying to see. The guy that directed the Cloverfield Paradox is directing. I don't know how that makes you feel.
Jesus God. Well, I mean, that's still J.J. Abrams' property.
Yeah, but
so,
for that, he was mainly just a producer.
Yeah, but God, I don't know. We'll see. I don't like anything J.J. Abrams touches.
I can see your point on that, but again, I mean, he's just the producer. I mean, if you look at, Kevin Feige produced some of the movies you love and the ones you hate. He's the main producer, the showrunner.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily indicative of the quality. Plus, this isn't a J.J. Abrams thing. This is just a guy that's worked with Abrams.
Yeah.
We've also got a Thunderbolts announcement, which is supposed to be coming 2024.
Yeah.
Which I called that shit. That shit. I told you they were going to be doing a fucking Thunderbolts movie. I was so happy when they announced that. I was like, fucking yeah. Gonna get probably John Walker back. We're gonna get Yelena Belova, probably Abomination.
Yeah, I remember there was also the thing too recently that what recent MCU property was it where they had a Ghost Rider Johnny Blaze Easter egg? What was that?
It's in I think it's in a trailer for She-Hulk.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She-Hulk's trailers.
Yeah.
Here's something I don't like. Spider-Man Freshman Year.
Yeah, that animated pre-sequel.
Yeah, which no,
you don't need it. It's during his high school years, isn't it?
Oh, hold on. Let me tell you why I don't like this.
What is it?
I'm gonna watch it because I'm a fucking I've got the strap around my arm and I'm tapping a fucking vein.
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this, at least the first episode. Here's what I don't like. If it was just an animated version of Peter's origins, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I thought it was his high school years as Spider-Man.
It is
like the first 6 months.
That is what it is.
Okay.
It is still him, which they already allegedly greenlit Spider-Man sophomore year, the second season.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's not even fucking out yet. Quit doing that. All of you showrunners that are definitely listening to our podcast for ideas, quit greenlighting shit before the first thing come out.
You know the Lord of the Rings TV show has 5 seasons confirmed?
Jesus Christ.
And you know how well that's getting received?
Like, I can understand planning for 5 seasons, but getting it greenlit is just crazy. Anyway.
I think that's the contract.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, fucking Rick and Morty did something similar. Where they made sure before they re-signed they had like fucking 200 episodes or something.
Didn't they do that after like season?
Yeah, it was like 4 seasons, admittedly.
Yeah.
Well,
they did it. They did it at least after season 1 was out.
Yeah, I think it was like after the 3rd season. Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. But
anyway, I agree with you. That's nuts.
The show, the Rings of Power. The Lord of the Rings Amazon TV show.
It's an interesting concept.
It looks fucking dog shit. It's stupid.
Visually, it looks just like the fucking movies.
I think it looks worse.
Sure.
It looks worse.
When I saw the trailer, which I could not tell you what the story's supposed to be.
I'll tell you right now, I've read the premise for the first 8 episodes.
Yeah.
No rings are involved.
Like,
no, I won't tell you what happens.
Well, like, okay. So the first 8 episodes were like
I don't remember how many episodes there are. I think there's 9 or 10. I think there's 10 episodes.
So the rings haven't been forged. I don't know what the story is supposed to be. Maybe it's like the reasoning why the rings get forged.
It's set during the Second Age and thousands of years before the events of Lord of the Rings. There is a book that Tolkien wrote called The Numenorian that is essentially...
I thought it was like the
yeah, that's it. Yeah, the Silmarillion.
Something like that.
Something like that. I should know. Because I've been hearing a lot of people talk about it, so I should know. Where did Numenorian come from?
I don't know. But so,
anyways, yeah, the book that he wrote that kind of it's essentially a groundwork of like the world.
How they I'm assuming and kind of hoping that the whole point of the show is showing the story behind why the rings were forged in the first place. I
mean, kinda, yeah.
Because we got exposition on that in the movies, but just for the layman's.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did in the first bit.
Yeah, we got an explanation.
They told us the rings were forged, and
but they essentially told us what the fairy tale would be for the characters in the show the movie, where it's like the story they tell each other.
But the issue is because of copyright issues that Amazon was not able to get a hold of. This isn't even really.
It's more like an adaptation.
It's Tolkien quote unquote inspired. So the only actual character from the book is oh god, how do I forget? What's her name?
That's weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
They're every other character except for one character is not a Tolkien character.
That's weird.
Yeah, they're not in the books or anything.
Yeah.
And they have it was already ruined before Comic-Con, but if you watch the interviews and stuff in the panel, is the biggest circle jerk of activists and self-insertion. Because, I don't know if you've seen anything of it or if you've seen highlights.
I've seen the trailer, that's it.
So, the fat bitch that is playing the dwarf lady...
Okay.
She came out and, it's like they were all... Both her, the interviewers, everybody who's done an interview regarding her character, it's like they were all handed a script. And the line that keeps repeating is, "You're the first female dwarf." And then she even said on stage during the panel, yeah.
Is she?
No, she's not.
About to say, I could have sworn there was female dwarves in the trilogy.
There were. You see them. In the tavern.
Yeah.
Samwise marries one.
No, Samwise marries no. He marries a hobbit. Dwarves and hobbits are separate species.
Within Tolkien, there's 3 different.
Wait, in Tolkien lore are dwarves and hobbits the same fucking thing?
There's 3 different types of hobbits, but they're all hobbits.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
or halflings.
Yeah,
I know they call the hobbits halflings. Is that the species? And it's different breeds?
Kinda, sorta. And I should know, because I've been... Especially
You're a
lately,
way bigger Tolkien head than me.
Kinda.
I've seen the movies and read The Hobbit. That's all I've ever read.
Oh, you should read The Lord of the Rings.
That's what I've been told.
You should read The Silmarillion. That way you can accurately hate the Rings of Power.
Okay.
But...
I'll do an audiobook. How's that?
Yeah, the audiobook, yeah. But, there's 3 different ones, and they've absolutely just fucking butchered the whole thing.
Well, that is unfortunate.
But the biggest one, too, is she came out and said she's the first female dwarf on screen.
Yeah, I still don't think that's true.
That's not true at all.
Is there not any scene where Gimli is like at his?
No, she just said.
people?
She said on in a.
She's probably talking about in the Lord of the Rings series.
No, she has said it multiple times. Interviewers have said it multiple times. That's why I say it was like they were handed a script, where they keep repeating the line: first female dwarf or first female hobbit.
And
it's absolutely fucking stupid.
Well, just to go back to Marvel and give you another thing to shit on.
Yeah.
Is when in terms of this idea,
yeah,
I will probably join you whenever it comes out, especially if the show's not good. I'm gonna check it out and hope it is, but
yeah.
Okay. It is not the story of our Peter Parker's past. It is MCU adjacent.
Oh my!
It's a fucking multiverse.
Oh god!
It's another fucking universe.
It is. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be?
It's like if they had done it as part of like with the same art style as the What If or whatever,
yeah.
and treated it like that. Sure,
that would be okay. I guess.
Sure, for like an episode or two.
Yeah,
but it's a whole show.
Yeah,
and this is going to feature a bunch of new characters, but not our characters because again, it's in a fucking multiverse.
Yeah.
So we're getting Nico from the Runaways. I don't know if you ever read the Runaways or ever watched the Hulu show, which was
Yeah, I never watched it.
The comic series is great. The Hulu show is
shit.
It's meh.
Yeah.
It's got. He's apparently going to have a new love interest who is not MJ or Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
There's going to be a Wakandan exchange student. Amadeus Cho, you remember the all-new, all-different Hulk?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if he's going to be Hulk in this, but he's in the show. And then, here's the thing that when I heard this, I was like, before I read that it was an alternate universe thing, I was like, what? So, Daredevil's in it too.
Yeah.
By the way. And Doctor Strange is also going to be in it. So is Chameleon, Scorpion, Speed Demon, Tarantula, Rhino, Doc Ock. But here's the main... All of the things I just said.
Yeah.
I could be okay with. I could be okay with that.
Yeah.
The whole thing about it being an alternate universe is dumb.
Yeah,
it's
no, that's
fucking
stupid.
dumb. And to really drive home that it's an alternate universe, not just the fact that they've got all these characters who we've never seen in the MCU, really. His mentor, and even like the little picture I've seen of the shot from similar to Civil War where Tony's on the couch with Aunt May.
Yeah.
Guess who? It's not Tony. It's Osborn. You know, the guy that we've learned in Spider-Man No Way Home that doesn't exist in the MCU.
Yeah.
So they're introducing him in this alternate universe story that we didn't fucking need. Cartoon story. That they're giving a second season before the first season is announced.
I don't get it.
I don't either. It makes no fucking sense to me.
That makes less sense than anything right now. Well,
Like,
it makes no sense.
If they did it as like a short, like with the not a short, but like the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special thing,
yeah,
which is I believe supposed to be canon. I don't know because it hadn't come out yet.
I believe it is.
I believe it's supposed to be canon. If they had done something as similar to that for this, sure, little one-off fun story, okay. It doesn't affect anything. I'm okay with that, but a multi-season show where you could be putting those fucking resources to something else? That's stupid. Something else like Deadpool 3 that's supposed to be
for
slated.
something we didn't need to be in the first place.
Yeah, we didn't need it. It was a cool concept before it was an alternate universe thing.
Yeah. I was gonna show you this right quick, but I'll just show you after we're done recording.
Well, I think in addition to all the 8 slots that are empty on Phase 6,
yeah,
I think Deadpool 3 is going to be one. And the only reason I think so is because I think they're going to start filming soon. Because unless he's doing something else that requires it, Ryan Reynolds is buff as shit right now.
He teased something recently with a Deadpool mask, I believe, didn't he?
He put some kind of picture up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, other than his own movie, like, where, if it was before his movie, okay, you've got the pen. If you're not going to introduce him, quote unquote, to the MCU in his own film, where would you have him pop up first?
Do we know if it's going to be called Deadpool 3?
I believe so. Right, it's a working title for sure. Because it's supposed to still be Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Feige's made damn sure to let everyone know it ain't broke. We ain't trying to fix it.
Yeah.
It's Ryan Reynolds and what's his
It's going to be un-Disneyed, as they put it.
It's rated R.
Yeah.
As of right now, it's rated R.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same writers, the same directors. I mean, Ryan, I believe, is one of the writers, but it's the same director. So everything on right now seems on track to be a Deadpool 3 proper.
So how would I put Deadpool 3 into the MCU?
No. Do you think, and if you do, where would you do it with the slate we know that's coming? If you were to insert him into one of the new the shows coming or the movies coming before his movie comes in fucking like 2025 or whatever,
where would I put him?
Because I've been trying to think of like my jokey answer has always been like he should just be the new Stan Lee cameo and just like be popping up places, kind of like what's her nuts, the Thunderbolts leader, the Val.
Oh,
like she's popped up in 2 or 3 things, and it's just been to show up and be like, hey, I'm here doing stuff, like, or like we think Kang's going to be popping up in a bunch of stuff. Like, if you had to choose one of the movies or shows for Deadpool to either cameo or have a whole episode or arc or whatever, if you had to choose something for him to show up in, what do you think would be the smart choice?
I feel like Thunderbolts.
That is a good choice. Of course, again, we don't know timeline-wise, not timeline, but like slate-wise.
Yeah,
which would be first.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so the established ones?
Sure. The ones that we know are coming, because I think Thunderbolts is definitely Phase 6.
Okay, so what's it? You read me Phase 5 if you can,
okay,
or what you remember from it.
So, let me get it real quick. Well, I mean, we know we've got Black Panther and Ant-Man and the Wasp, She-Hulk, Guardians.
Either She-Hulk. I could see She-Hulk.
She-Hulk would be fun because both of them break the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion or Echo.
Oh man.
Daredevil.
Outside of She-Hulk already looking and sounding retarded.
Loki?
No. Maybe.
Loki is very multiversal.
I was going to say, yeah, Loki you could do easily, just as easily as I was just now thinking. So, we've already seen from the trailer that She-Hulk will break the fourth wall.
Mm. Which I thought they did really, really well.
I thought they did pretty alright with it. I think it would be hilarious if, like, the last episode, she turns to look at the camera and does, like, some, like, jokey thing, and then the camera pans and it's Deadpool just holding a taco.
Love it.
Or a chimichanga, yeah. And then he's just like, why do you keep addressing me?
Why do you keep looking at me? Leave me alone.
Yeah.
What about, I mean, I don't know how well it would fit, but Blade?
I could see it, yeah.
I would like to see, not necessarily the Deadpool thing, but with the Marvels that's coming out next year. I think that would be an interesting spot to put, because we don't really know anything about the plot of that movie.
Yeah.
But I think that would be an interesting thing to start, if they don't start doing it in other projects before, That would be an interesting place to start introducing a couple mutants, very specifically Rogue and maybe Gambit. Because Rogue had that big thing in the comics where she
took Miss
Captain Marvel's powers. Because then you can depower Carol for a bit.
Or just outright get rid of her.
Yeah, well, she's right. She could be killed off. I don't think they would do that. They might. But I think depowering her, at least temporarily, because, I mean, I don't know what the story's supposed to be, so I don't know how to organically you could put this in.
Yeah.
But I believe that we've already been shown that after significant, like, I think in Doctor Strange, the alternate Captain Marvel, the Maria Rambeau.
Yeah.
It's not Monica. Monica's the daughter.
Yeah.
I think I watched it recently, and it appeared to me that when she was like blasting Wanda, I think Wanda absorbed her shit. I think that's why she was able to be crushed. I think she got depowered by Wanda.
Yeah.
Because like it shows while she's doing it, like her suit starts going away, like her mask is there, and then it like withers away.
It dissipates.
So I think they've already shown us that this character or this power set can be absorbed, or taken away. And I mean, who knows? If she wouldn't have got crushed by the stone thing, maybe her powers would have, recharged or whatever. But I think because of the connection to Captain Marvel, and now you have Kamala Khan being kind of labeled a mutant in the MCU, which I'm going to say it for the recording because I know I've made this joke a few times. I absolutely think it's hilarious how Marvel's Kevin, it's got to be Feige, who just has a nerd boner for it. When they introduced Professor X into Doctor Strange, they had a quick musical cue of and then in Ms. Marvel, they have this little quick scene where at the very end, her buddy has been like helping her learn her powers the whole show, like studying her DNA and stuff, and like helping her because he's a fucking like super smart whiz kid. And he tells her, he's like, I was looking at your DNA, and it's different than your family's because her family can't use the powers either, and they're supposed to all be descended from the same people. And she goes, it's almost like a mutation, and the music goes. It cracked me up when I heard it. I was like, really, Feige? Come on.
I could see them, now that you mention it, I could see them in the Marvels introducing Rogue.
At the very least.
I could see them doing that.
Because, like, I don't know how... I know we've discussed it on the podcast.
Like, how would we introduce the X-Men?
Yeah, like, there's so many ways that you could do it. Some of them would be good. Some of them that we've even pitched would probably suck.
I was going to say, because, like, the one off the top of my head that I remember was, like...
Xavier's been hiding them the whole
time.
Which I don't really like that.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it.
And I'm also not... Here, my issue with it is because of the timeline thing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you have to explain to a degree, I don't think you would really need to fully explain it. Because I think even in the comics, there was a precedent set where the X-Men would go out and do shit, and then memories would be wiped.
Yeah.
To where it's like, you saw this giant blue motherfucker. Well, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
But I put my fingers to my temple, and then I remembered we don't have video yet, so I did a sound effect.
I want Professor, whoever plays the Professor.
I love that they gave him the fucking circles coming out of his head, too.
I want them to do that. I want the whoop.
Actually, do Zoidberg. Oh god. But yeah, I think it's you almost can't do they've been here the whole time, but you also can't do that they're brand new. Because then how do you have old motherfuckers like Xavier and Logan? Or Apocalypse if they ever get there. Like how do you pretend that the mutants have been here the whole time without giving some kind of explanation? Like Namor is a mutant. Namor is a mutant.
Yeah.
He's the first mutant, quote unquote. And even as far as what we've seen from the movie, it looks like they're keeping that. Because he's the only fucking Atlantean, or whatever they're calling him.
Yeah.
He's the only one not blue. He's got fucking wings on his feet.
Yeah.
Like, they're showing us that they're slowly giving us mutants.
Because, like, I'm trying to remember from, like, something like No Way Home where they had the strangers having the issues, like, well, both in No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2, there was the issue of, like, the multiverse convergence type thing.
Yeah. Where in No Way Home, like, the fabric of reality was breaking or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, God, I don't know. And then we've got the Eternals. Like, that got greenlit for a sequel for some stupid reason.
Yeah, I had heard something about that. Like, but I had also heard that, of course, maybe it's the same project, but I had heard something about a Celestials, which, again, might be the same thing as Eternals 2.
I don't know. So,
I think the main thing that Eternals was...
Oh, God, yeah. I was going to say, like, at the end of Eternals, we got the Blade teaser.
Yeah, got the Blade teaser there. But I think the main thing that I took away from Eternals, and granted, this doesn't, like, solve its issues.
Yeah.
Because, as we've said many times, that should not have been a movie.
Yeah.
It should have been a Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
They should have had six episodes to give us time to breathe with these characters and really flesh shit out. Because that movie had so much potential. That movie has so much where it could have gone, but
the idea, but there was just no momentum behind it. Nobody was excited for it. Nobody was looking forward to it.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about people's perceptions of things.
Yeah,
I'm talking about just the movie.
Yeah,
just what we got. That movie felt like it was a highlight reel from a series.
Yeah,
like, we needed things. We needed more to make us give a fuck about those characters.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen the movie 4 times.
Ew.
Fuck off. I've seen the movie 4 times, and it's...
progressively worse each time you watch it?
No, but it doesn't, like... I've tried thinking, well, maybe I missed X, Y, or Z. And I didn't. There's just not enough... They don't give you a lot for it. Like, again... It just, I think the thing that
there wasn't substance.
There needed to be. We needed more time with the characters, and we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't
I
have
mean that's been a
2.5
major
hours.
complaint outside of them just being wooden planks.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, watching it back, there's a lot going on. In my eyes, character-wise,
yeah,
like the characters, the actors are doing very well. Like, if you watch that movie again. Throughout all the little flashbacks and stuff, you can see the story of Sprite being in love with Icarus. You can see the Makari, the speedster.
yeah.
You can see the love between Druig and Makari throughout the centuries, or the eons, or whatever the fuck. Like, when you watch it, having seen it already, knowing how it's gonna, you can see the setups there. But if we had 6 hours for them to spend a whole episode in the past, and then jump to the next century, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
Like, if we would have had more time to breathe with those characters, I think it would have been much different.
It would have been better played out theoretically.
Yes, theoretically, I think it would have helped more than it would have hurt.
Yeah.
Whereas something like,
all right,
Ironheart.
Oh God,
I mean, I don't. That's supposed to be a series, but I mean, we'll see. I mean, do you think we'll end on this because we're at 3 hours now?
Yeah.
What are the genuine odds? Not like there's no fucking way in hell, or like, what do you think the genuine odds that they could get Downey back?
They won't. No, zero
None?
chance. Zero chance. None whatsoever.
What if it's actually fucking good? I know you think it's impossible, but I think there is at least.
I don't think it's impossible. I just think there's a less than 1% chance.
It's not likely, but with the fact that such an integral part of Riri Williams' story is the fact that she's got this Tony Stark AI.
Is that the thing?
In the comics, she had.
Oh, yeah.
How she got it, but
she stole the armor originally, didn't she? In the comics, didn't she?
No, she built it.
I could have sworn she stole it. I could have sworn she stole like some parts of it.
It's been a while. I have read that. I have read Ironheart, but I know she built her armor.
Yeah, but I thought she built it from stolen
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, here's my theory.
Okay.
On the unlikely event, because I'm with you, I don't think it's the most likely that they get Robert, but the fact that she had Tony's AI in the suit as her Jarvis is such an integral part of her character arc in the comics of her learning to be a hero, having Tony teaching her to a degree.
Yeah.
Or at least mentoring her. Riri in the movies, from what I've gathered, is an MIT graduate.
Yeah.
It's not outside the realm of possibility that. Do you remember in Civil War?
Yeah, he was funding the programs and grants and stuff.
It is entirely possible with a little bit of a retcon.
I remember. Yeah, I was gonna say. I remember we theorized this.
That it could be a thing of like Tony developed this AI. Much like he developed the Fridays and the Jarvises and all the just did
like as an open source project.
Either open source or. Maybe it was maybe Ironheart is like genius level intellect like Tony, and he was alive for years post Civil War. Like there's at least 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
let's say because Civil War happened, they all went on the run, and then Infinity War. Let's say it's like 6 years before he died, 6-7 years, or. Keep it at, I'm going to say 6. Let's say 6. Let's give it a year between Civil War and Infinity War, and then the 5-year time jump before he died. So let's say 6 years post the MIT thing. It's entirely possible that Tony, gave this to this student. She, the best and brightest. She hangs out in Wakanda. Or maybe it was like the gift. Maybe it was the prize.
There wasn't a prize, though.
No. I know there wasn't a prize. Everybody's shit got to. I'm saying, it could have been a thing of, maybe it could be an open source thing like you're saying. Or maybe it could be a thing where Tony, much like with Peter, saw this kid and was like, hey, here's the thing. Go be good. Because he just picked Peter out of fucking YouTube videos. This kid was at the school that he just gave a fuckload of money to and is definitely keeping an eye on. It's entirely possible she was working on some kind of something and he was like, hey.
I don't like the idea.
I'm spitballing.
Yeah.
I think
because even after I said maybe it could have been open source, then it would be like, well, how come we're not seeing more Tony AIs?
Exactly. That's why I think it would need to be something more specific.
Well, I don't think you even I don't see
because
now is this pinning on the idea that theoretically we would get a Tony AI or just
I am theorizing that because Tony's AI being
Vision.
In the suit,
they worked on Vision in Wakanda.
That's true.
So there could have been some aspect of Vision that got left behind or recovered.
That's not bad.
And so they took that because they already had Stark Tech.
Well, I mean, all they did with Vision in Wakanda though was to try to remove the stone. They
Yeah.
didn't exactly
No, they didn't take any pieces or anything. But the data that was being, you could say, well, we were gathering data off of it while we were deconstructing.
Maybe.
So I could see them doing something like that, taking quote unquote files that they gathered and reconstructing based off the data available to the public and whatever access they have to Stark and S.H.I.E.L.D. That Riri could construct an AI with Tony's personality as best as she could. Because, like, you could, like, you know how
see, that's why I'm thinking it would have to be something that Tony did.
Well,
like a scan of his brain or something.
No, I don't, well.
Because...
because then at that time, too, because what you could do is, because, like, you know, we've got the thing where we got people taking AI programs and reading a script for something or an event thousands of times to rewrite its own version of it.
I see what you're saying.
So Riri could have developed her own AI to run through everything
that just sounds like Tony.
Well, just take a conglomeration of everything Tony related. YouTube videos, interviews, everything like that. And it's like, I want you to reconstruct an AI of Tony as best as you can.
Kind of like that Joe Rogan talking about a monkey hockey team thing.
Kind of.
AI.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, kind of. But I'm liking this idea as I pitch it now. Riri develops an AI that gathers everything it can on Tony to create a Tony AI, and it becomes self-aware enough to realize it's not Tony, and then it starts reflecting on like who Tony actually was, and it's telling Riri, it's like, look, I'm not Tony, I'm not going to be Tony, but I'm going to be somebody who can try to help you along the way as best as I can, as best as Tony would.
I like that. Like, I like the idea of her being the one to make it.
Yeah.
Kind
of like what Tony was to Spider-Man, like a mentor figure, but then the AI sees, you know, like it's gathered all the data it can.
Well, I mean, the thing, to me, the only thing I would say is, like, I think it would work better if it's, I don't know how it gets into her hands. Maybe you're right, and she did steal Tony's stuff.
I mean, that was the comics, but I think
we know we're getting Armor Wars where Tony's tech is spread out.
Yeah,
so it's possible she stole something.
I don't see her steal. I think they're going to try to walk that back a little bit, but I think she'll. Because if I remember right, in the comics, she outright stole it. I think she snuck into a facility or something and stole it. Or just stole something related to it and built the armor. Because she's super genius.
Yeah.
But I think with the idea that the armor, that his technology is spread out, and you've got people like Vulture who got a hold of it too, you know. I think she'll be one of the people who did get a hold of a piece of it, combined it with Wakanda technology and made her own armor.
Because we're about to see, that's where she's popping up first, is in Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2.
So, I
don't know, I really like your pitch.
Yeah.
But because it makes it hers.
That's the pitch I would pitch to Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
If I was desperate enough to get him back, I would tell him, I would want you back as an AI in this fashion. Yeah. I think he would be on board with that, but at the same time, you could easily do that with just its own AI that doesn't turn itself into Tony, but it tries to become Tony adjacent. It's like, look, I'm self-aware enough that
you get that.
I want to be
actor for Tony from like the Mightiest Avengers cartoon.
You could, yeah.
That's a Disney property too.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Not saying that that's what they should do.
I was gonna say I don't know if that infringes on any copyright issues.
Well, no, you just get the voice actor.
Yeah.
And not even doing Tony, just doing.
Doing his. I was gonna say you don't even need like a digital scale version of Tony. You can just have the voice.
And that's one. That is to me like
a Jarvis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that would be, if I'm Robert Downey Jr., that would be a selling point. Not just like, I know he said that the story's got to be right.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that the story is something he could sink his teeth into. I think a major selling point would be, hey, it's just vocal.
Yeah.
You go into your fucking closet, you record 2 hours a day for a week, and then you're done. And then the movie will come out next year, and you can come to the red carpet.
I was going to say, I think I would try to draw a respectful line where it's like, we're not trying to emulate Robert Downey Jr.
Where it's not.
But this AI has developed itself to a point where, because of Riri's influence, wanting Tony, that it's altered its systems to kind of sound Tony adjacent, but it's self-aware enough to understand it doesn't want to be Tony. It wants to be its own thing.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Well, that's, to me, Ironheart, it not necessarily is like one of the ones that I'm like, give me this fucking show.
Yeah.
But that one intrigues me because, like we've said before, Ironheart was not the best received comic itself.
No. And neither was Miss Marvel.
And neither was Miss Marvel.
And neither was Miss America
Chavez.
Yeah.
She was a fucking tiny character. Like
but she from my understanding, she was okay in her initial run, and then when some other writer took over, that's when it really fucked.
Yeah, a lot,
and not in a good way.
The writer is very integral, but
yeah,
Ironheart, out of all of the like new heroes they've been introducing, her show has me the most intrigued as like what the possibilities could be. Like Ms. Marvel, I already knew, I know her story. I've read her comics.
Yeah,
that show does have its issues, but for the most part, I thought it was a good try.
Yeah,
like that sounds more negative than I meant it to be.
No, you're fine.
Like it was a good attempt, like at introducing this character for new audiences, tweaking things here and there. Like they've already said that her like power change is not the final thing. Like it's, I think Feige called it an evolution. Like she's gonna evolve as she goes. But I'm intrigued to see what they do with Riri.
I'm curious to see, because I know they're going to want to distance themselves from the comic version.
Yeah. Well, she's going to be in Armor Wars as well.
Yeah.
I think I already said that.
Yeah.
But which that show needs to hurry the fuck up. Give me some more Don Cheadle kicking ass and being sassy.
Yeah.
Because I like Don Cheadle.
We'll see if it makes it that far. And just to end on it, I don't know if you caught the tag on a recent She-Hulk release where it had a tag that was like the must she show.
The MCU pushers must love that.
Yeah. Where we're getting a whole mess of female characters that are replacing established male characters.
Sure.
Just saying.
Oh, God.
Anyways, okay.
Well, we've been a little racist, and now we're a little sexist.
I don't care.
Good night, everybody.
Where are we at?
It's
3.5 hours.
Oh, we still gotta cut out that little slice of ginger.
It doesn't matter. We're still at 3.5 hours. Alright.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another episode of Poptards. My name is Albert. You can follow me on Instagram at Pro Wrestling Nerd. Josh?
You can follow me on Instagram, JC
I think that's your handle on the TikTok too.
I think. I never did look it up after last time. Your band? Do you want to plug your band?
Yeah, Google the Hampton Connection. And we didn't talk about JFH again. But look up Justice for Hire. We might have some cool stuff, something cool coming.
Yeah.
Probably not next episode, but soon.
Next couple
episodes. I've been talking to the creator of that, and we pretty much locked in him to be on the show. Very exciting. Very exciting. Might push our 7 listeners to 9 or 10.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Later, everybody.